everyone. Although YouTube is not 100% convinced anyone is watching, but I think probably someone is watching. It's possible that I am incorrect, but we will see. Hello, Daniel. There is someone watching. Let's see. Yes, please do like the stream. If you have not yet liked the stream, please do so. Hello, everyone. A bunch of people in chat. The concurrent viewer number of 0 that YouTube is telling me seems not to be correct. Let's see, does it tell me a different number over here? Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, it gives me a different number over in that window. YouTube is very weird. Yeah, I did decide to start 30 minutes early because I just got home and was like, I'll hang out with these lovely people and do some puzzles. It will be good fun. And then as I started today at 2:30 my time, I was like, you know what would be the best way to communicate what time I'm starting streaming in a way that is time zone neutral? I could just say CTC time and then give a plus or minus. And so today I'm starting at CTC time, but I was originally scheduled for CTC plus 30, or like if I was streaming an hour ago, I can go CTC minus 60. And I feel like a lot of people would know immediately when that is there. Andrew has a good theory, which is that perhaps there's some anti-people in the room, and the people plus the anti-people together are counting for 0. That seems very plausible. Who knows? Anyway, this whole like YouTube reporting on how much is going on is always a little bit sketchy. So, as always, from our streams, we start with, and so I made this joke last time, so I get to make it again. We always start with the Math Pesto puzzle that has received the most votes from supporters. I believe this is the, is this the 4th Math Pesto puzzle in a row? I have this big, giant list of puzzles that people who support the stream can vote on. And I just do whatever one has the most votes out of the people who support the stream. And it just so happens that the people who support the stream are very big Math Pesto puzzles. Or, sorry, very big Math Pesto puzzles. I'm sorry, this is a very big Math Pesto puzzle. But they're very big Math Pesto fans, which, I mean, I am as well, so I am happy to engage in the Math Pesto puzzles. I have been warned, I believe, that this one is going to be harder than the one we did last time. But we will see how it goes. So let's try and understand the rules. Oh, I was told the bet tree is supposed to go in row 16, column 17. At which point I realized that, oh god, this grid is so big it has a row 16, column 17, which was a very concerning realization when it comes to finishing the puzzle within the 4 hours that we have allotted for the stream. But we will do our very best to sort of figure it out. All right, so let us try to read the rules of this monstrosity that we have before us. So, gray cells in the grid form a valid Sudoku. Hey, Jobo, welcome back! These cells contain the digits 1 through 9, the digits may not repeat, and rows, columns, and 3x3 boxes of the gray cells. So basically, if you just deleted everything else, these would be Sudokus. White cells form a valid Fillomino. And so Magnus had a Fillomino with 1 hole, so Math Pesto had to make a Fillomino with 9 holes. Divide the cells into polyominoes so that no two polyominoes at the same size share an edge. So usual Fillomino rules, so we basically just get to do something like this. It could be an omino, and then every single time I will forget to turn the keypad on. And if this is an omino, all of these are 4 because there's 4 things in this omino. And the only rule of Fight Club is that I can't then have another 4 omino that touches my first 4 omino. So cells of different colors can't have the same number in them if they touch, or whatever way you want to say that in your head. There we go. The number in a cell with an arrow is the sum of all Fillomino cells in that direction. Sudoku cells don't count towards the sum. If a cell contains multiple arrows, each direction sums separately. So this digit, for example, is the sum of this cell. So I believe that's telling me that these are both in the same Fillomino, for example. this digit is the sum of these four, this digit is the sum of these four. And I keep saying digit, but really it's number, not digit. Because it could be anything. Could even be a boat, as they say. Okay, so what an adventure this is going to turn out to be. So I think I understand the rules. If anyone in chat doesn't think I understand the rules or doesn't think they understand the rules, let me know. This cell is going to be the sum of that cell. This cell is the sum of all of those. This cell is the sum of those. I'm marking these things that are definitely the same, but I'm not... I need to remember that I don't actually know that these are all different. So, like, yellow and green could be the same in some catastrophic universe. Oh, sorry, I did not read the names of people who voted for this. I should do that. I also realize I can draw in some borders, which will also be helpful. So the people who voted for this puzzle are Woofer, Nordy, Chef of Death, Doomed Yacht, Luda, Josh, Russ, Math Pesto, and David. So thank you all very much for your support, and thank you, David, who voted for this, and thank you, David, for reminding me to read the list. I had it up on my other monitor, and then I distracted myself and did not, in fact, actually start talking about it, but that is the list. So arrows don't always represent a border, which they do in a lot of these kinds of puzzles, but these are definitely borders. Because if I did not have a border here, it would be saying this cell is the same as the sum of all of these. That would require all of these to be 0, which is not going to work very well. Likewise with that one, and that one, that one, that one, that one, these two. Let's see. Is that all that I can get for free? That might be all that I can get for free. Okay, so these digits, so I'm also noticing things like none of these digits can be 1, because these are all sums of 2 things. So these are not 1, so the 1 in this box definitely goes down here somewhere, and doesn't go there either. But these could be 2 if there's 2 1s. But I'm sort of intrigued by the fact that sort of all of these... Oh, no. Am I already dropping frames? Oh, crap. Facepalm. Apologies. It seems like our internet is being a bit difficult again, as happened some last time. Hopefully it evens out. But we will do our best to sort of shamble on as this happens. Dagnammit, that is very unfortunate. Bobbins indeed. You may be getting zetas at like 2 frames per second at the moment with how many frames are getting dropped. Well, good news, Isabella, it's not your internet. Also, reminder to those of you who are not so regular that this is old news to you. I'm currently staying at an Airbnb, which is why I don't have the gray curtain in the background, although I kind of have a little bit of a gray curtain in the background. But so this is a temporary problem, but it's not my internet I'm using, so I can't really I can't really fix it in any meaningful way. I do not believe, and Tristan is out today, so he is the one who might normally be able to do something possibly about it, but I do not know. Unless it is an issue with my laptop, I don't think there's anything I can do about it. So this one's a minimum of 3, I notice, because these two can't both be 1. The annoying thing is these could be 2. It's a little bit irksome. I'm trying to decide if there's like I can place a 1 or something in one of these. The frames have returned. That would be excellent. I would like it if the frames returned. And MicroStudy is back. Welcome back, MicroStudy. Apologies that you have returned to this disaster of internet that we seem to be having at the moment. Uh, was it MicroStudy now? Interesting. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's my wireless card or anything like that. I hate technology. Uh, so yeah, this is the sum of those two. So this is a minimum of 3. Hmm. What else are we doing here? Uh, yeah, I'm trying to decide if I like actually know anything about what's happening here. Like, I think I know that these together have that. If I put all the ominoes together here, I know that the total is at least 6. So I think I know that they like enter some of those cells, but I don't quite know what I'm supposed to do with that yet. Uh, row 1, column 8 and 9 are borderable. I'm being told. Oh no, are we framing again? We seem to be framing again. That's not great. Let's see. I've never seen dropped frames numbers this high, which is not a good place to be. Uh, but I do not know again anything that I can do about it. If anyone has any recommendations of ways to check if it's in fact my wireless card at some point, I will check that. I don't think it is, given that it started happening exactly when we moved, but it's possible that because something else in my laptop broke, that it is something to do with that. I don't know. Uh, row 9, column 13 is a 9. Ah, yes. Okay, Mario, excellent point. So these cells, there we go. That gives us somewhere to start. This arrow points to all 6 of these, and these are a minimum of being a 1-2 pair, which makes this a 9, and gets us our 9-digit dance to start. So this is a 9, and we get to bring in Zach for our digit dance. Apologies for Zach dancing in low frame rate. Ba-boop-ba-doo, woo! Ba-doop-ba-doo, woo! Ba-doop-ba-doo, woohoo! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. You can sit over here and keep me company since no one else can see the frame no one else can see the stream anyway. And so these are all 1-2 pairs, like that. Now, can this really be a 2? If this is a 2, that would be a 2. Yeah, that would work if the 2s did that, and that was a 1. I think that might be just barely okay. It does let me fill in a 3 here immediately, because 1 plus 2 is 3. So there is a 3. This is certainly also a 1 or a 2. To complete the set. These all sum to 9. Okay, so the fact that these 6 cells sum to 9 is also pretty interesting, because it says none of them are very large. But I'm not certain I even know, like, that any of these, that these aren't, well, I do know they're all not 1, but I don't think I know any particular one of them is not 1. Maybe I do, somehow. I'm trying to think of, or trying to identify any other clues that interact meaningfully with these 1-2s that I have filled in the grid that I assume are useful. Hey, Naverio! Welcome to low frame rate Zeta Day. This is a fantastic puzzle I'm sure to be doing in whatever 12p or whatever YouTube is currently giving you. Wow, a whole year of Naverio things. Let's get you a dance. Ba-doo ba-doo, woo! Ba-doo ba-doo, woohoo! Ba-doo ba-doo, woohoo! 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 Thank you so much for a year of support, Naverio. That's awesome. Very cool. You got in there right at the beginning too, because we're not that far off from a year of when we started having supporters. Because it took a while for us to like qualify to have supporters even. So thank you very much. It really means a lot. Do I know if these two are the same or not? I don't immediately think I know. My brain keeps looking at this, but it's so close to the bet tree, it can't be useful. I mean, this number is a sum of 5 numbers, so it's a minimum of big, but not necessarily that big. Are there any other of these arrows that point at really a lot of cells? Like this one points at these, so it's at least 6. So I can fill in that this is 6, 7, or 8. At least. Let's see. It's not 9 because it's already the 9 there. Let's see. That's kind of interesting, actually, if I think about it. If I'm going to a maximum of 8, then one of these could be 1, 2. The other's at most 5. So that does say that these are always from 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't stop me from having them, like, repeat or anything. Like, they could be double 2 or something like that, I believe. So if these are from 1, 2, 3, 4, this is at most 5, is what I agreed, because these are at least 3, so this is at most 5. So this is 3, 4, 5 are the only options for this cell. I don't know if anyone can hear anything I'm saying, or if I'm talking into the void as this is... Oh, it seems the frames are back again. At least the light turned green. We'll see how long the light stays green, but maybe people can hear me again. I feel like when YouTube started and immediately it told me there were no viewers, I feel like it was prophesying the fact that there were going to be frame drop issues all day. This one's at least 6 because of those over there, so I can fill in 6, 7, 8, 9 there. These are a minimum of 3, so these are a maximum of 6. So these are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least. So I can't get these numbers any bigger than 5. So that's at least a restriction. Because if these can't be any bigger than 5, these can't be any bigger than 5 either. Because if these were bigger than 5, they would have to escape through these cells. So these at least I can also fill in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in. And so the maximum size of these is like 10, which is, I know, not the most impressive deduction ever. But it's what we have at the moment. I presume if we do enough of these deductions, then we might solve the puzzle. Although I admit, rarely have I felt so little confidence in my ability to solve a puzzle 30 minutes into the puzzle as I do in this puzzle. This one's always at least 6 as well. Because it's the sum of those. Do I have any pointing that way that are big? This one's at least 6. Because, again, of those. So this is a 6, 7, 8, or 9. But the arrows seem mostly to want to point the wrong direction. That wasn't a left-handed joke, I promise. This one is a sum of 7 digits, so it's at least 7, strangely. But it could be huge for all we know. So somehow there's got to be some way I can start, like, making deductions about, like, where the ones are, or what things touch the ones, or whatever. That's right. These digits I should think about. So 2, 3... Okay, so these digits sum to a minimum of 6. So they certainly need to be from 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I could have 5 1s and 1 4. They cannot be any larger than 4, however, under any circumstance whatsoever. Okay, that's interesting now because of this cell. Because now this cell is the sum of these 3 cells, and it visibly can't be larger than 4. But it also can't be smaller than 4. So this is a 4. That's a 1. And these are a 1-2 pair. There we go. We finally got something. This is also a 4. And so now these are all 1s in order to make the total work out, as we said. 1, 1, 1. Like that. This 1 makes that a 2, which makes that a 1. So we get to fill in a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we have we have made an incremental amount of progress. So there's ones. There's my 2 omino that has to look like that. Let's see. Okay, so now this digit is interesting because now I've got a 4 on this diagonal. And so 1, 2, 3 more digits is going to sum to at least 3. And so, but a maximum of 5. So I think these are only from 1, 2, 3. And these two actually sum to a maximum of 4, I believe, because these sum to at least 5. So these two sum to a maximum of 4. And so this digit's never more than 4. So it's 2, 3, or 4. And it can't be a 2, actually. This digit can only be a 3 or a 4 because of that, which means that these are from 1, 2, 3 as well. So this is also from 1, 2, 3 because it's surrounded by stuff that's from 1, 2, 3. Let me gray my 1s just to do my duty of... is that gray? No, I think that gray's okay. Actually, let's make them black just so they don't look like they're part of the Sudoku grid, because now if I do this, I'm going to think I'm scanning for them when I am scanning the Sudoku grid, and I do not want that. Okay, we'll make them black. The blackest of blacks. Okay, so now these digits now are at least each... They can't even actually both be 2, because if they were both 2, my 2 omino would be 3 big. So this is at least 5 now, at least, so we can sort of fill that in. And the same... It's not quite true of this one, is it? Neither of these can be 1. So this is at least 4. But I don't think it can actually be 4. Because if this is 4, these need to be 2, 2. And that's not actually possible, because that would make this a 1. So this is not 4. This is also at least 5 while doing it. Let's see. Isabella says, I know row 8, column 10 now. Oh, I do know more about it. So it's at least 3 plus 4 plus 1, which is 8. So this is at least 8. It's not 6 or 7. Oh, I could just read the row. Right. So this is, in fact, 5 plus 3 is 8. So this is an 8, which again forces this to be minimized. So this has to be a 1 and then a 1, 2. So no 3s there. And these are a 1, 2 pair, which means this definitely isn't a 1. So this is a 2 or a 3. But annoyingly, it can be a 2. This 4 omino, I'm going to give a color, and note it certainly doesn't take this cell, because that's the sum of these two, which are certainly more than 4. So that's not going to work there. This is another black cell that we can box appropriately. And so therefore this is a 3, is a good point from MicroStudy, because now I know it's 1 plus 2, so this now is 3, which means that these are a 1, 2 pair, means this is a 2. Yes, please do like the stream if you haven't. Even if you don't like the dropped frames, please like the stream anyway. It will be much appreciated. This can't be a 2, because if this was a 2, it would make both of these 1s. So that's not going to work. And so this is a 1, so 1s can't touch 2, so that's a 2, and that's a 1, and now this 2 has to go up there. And so now I can yellow, yellow, black, black. Fill in a 2 there. Whoop-a-doop-a-doop. This thing's at least a 3 now, just because and this thing's at least a 3. Is there... any cell that I should be looking at that looks at this cell? Not that I see yet. And this is at least a 3, but I don't see anything looking at it either. So we've got all of that set up. Again, that can be a 1, annoyingly. But we should be looking for a hidden triple in this row of the Sudoku puzzle at some point. And so I can do my usual, like, marking that these are in the same omino kind of business. And I can do that over here, or do that over here as well, just to sort of start seeing if that starts making any sensibility. This thing is pretty big, actually. That's going to be interesting. This thing is the sum of these two cells, which is at least as big as 5. So this is a minimum of 5. And if it's a minimum of 5, that means I know it at least takes all of those cells. And I know it does not take this cell. But it could grow even more than that, and probably does. Actually, it does, because this cell is a minimum of 6. So this does need to grow more. Oh, the orange can't grow into the column with the orange, or I need to put 0 in a whole lot of cells. So the orange goes up here. Again, the orange cannot sort of come back. So this orange is at least 6, but again, there's no reason it can't be like a double-digit number or something like that. It can be huge if it wants to be. It just can't dip back into this this world. Isabella pointing out it actually can't be 6 because I could do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. That would be at least 7. Isabella's got it up to at least 8, but I'll at least take that it's at least 7 from that. Why can't it be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1? I can't put 2 1s. 2, 1, 2. Oh, right. So sorry, I did this wrong. If I do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, that's 8. I just added wrong. So the 2s would be here, the 1s would be there. That is 8. So this is minimum of 8, so it goes there. Again, it certainly does not go here. It can only be... Oh, it doesn't have to be a Sudoku digit, so it does not need to be 8 or 9. It can be larger than 8 or 9 if it wants to be. Oh, no, it is. It is a Sudoku digit, because this digit sums it and that cell. So this digit is an 8, and this digit's a 1. And this digit's a 9, I should fill in while I am using the fact that that digit is a 9. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 there. The catalog will eventually get the puzzles from the previous stream. It takes a... That's not what I wanted, and you know it. It takes a bit for those to get updated, particularly as we are mid-move. So this must look like 2, 1, 2. Uh-oh, that's broken. Because that's broken. What did I screw up? Oh, I see. That's not the only way I can do 2, 2, 1. That's the way I can do 2, 2, 1. Now, is it forced to be that way? Okay, so, yes. So that has to be a 2, and then these have to be a 1, 2 pair, but the point is I can't make the 1, 2 pair in the way that I tried, but I can do that, in order to do that. And everything was so forced by this arrow that I'm not concerned that I have to go back and fix that. And so now this is just forced to be a 3 by phenomenology. It has no options. So we'll just make that purple, I guess. Now chat will point out all of the things that I now know the sum of because of this. These 3 things need to sum to 7 in order to make this work. Which means this is certainly not as large as 3. If this is as large as 3, then it would sum to at least 9. So this can only be a 1 or a 2. Now this can be as large as 3 in order for this to work, but no larger. Because again, if it were 3, I could go 3, 3. Oh, it can't be 3 for the funny reason that if this was 3, it would force the 3 omino to be at least 4 in size. So because of this arrow, this can't be a 3. And so keep in mind, this could be a 2 and a 2, with this being a 3. Or this could be a 1 and a 2. Oh, that doesn't work, actually. This can't be a 1 and a 2. Hey, Matt Pesto, I hope you're doing well. If this is a 1 and a 2, those sum to 3, 4. This would be a 4. But now where's the 2 going? The 2 isn't going anywhere. So this is a 2, 2, weirdly enough. And if that's a 2, 2, then this is a 3. And I should have stuck to my druthers and made 3s red like I did, but I was like, there's no way that's going to work out to be a 3, but lo and behold, it does. So there we go. Okay, now MicroStudy said something about copying something somewhere. Copy the 8 into row 3, column 8. Yes. Okay, these two arrows both sum these two cells is MicroStudy's point, and therefore this is an 8. And therefore this cell is not an 8. This digit is huge. And it's not a digit. It's bigger than a digit. So actually, because this now is at least as big as... this is bigger than 9. The 4 definitely doesn't take that cell. So the 4 always takes this cell for whatever that is worth. I don't know if anything points at this. I don't believe that it does yet. But we'll have a look later. This is larger than 2 and hence larger than 3. It's larger than 2 because of because these two can't both be 1. So this is at least 4. And I think the same is true here. This also can't be 2 and hence can't be 3. And so this is a minimum of 4 as well. And it's not an 8 either because there's already an 8 in the row. I am looking for a 1-2 hidden pair in this row is what I am hoping to find someday, if I am lucky. I don't think I'm going to find it, though. This is a minimum of 3, so this is a 4, 5, 6, 7, or 9 as well, because these could only be 1, 2, but they're not even 1, 2, because that would sum to 3, so this is, again, at least 4. So 1 and 2 can only live in these 3 cells. Yeah, this puzzle has been very interesting. I was very stuck at the start, but we seem to be at least going a little bit now. Let's see. Mario had a point about row 1, column 6, and row 2, column 7. Let's see. Mario says those are the same, because otherwise, row 3, column 8... right. Okay. Otherwise, these two are the same. So the point is, if this omino extends this way but not down, now whatever this omino is, let me show you in the bifurcation palette. If this extends... Sorry, if this does not extend down, so the bifurcation palette idea is that this is something else. Well, it's not 1, so it goes there. And Mario's point is, in that instance, these both are yellow plus green, which is a problem, because then that would be 8. Oops. So therefore, this extends down, and therefore these two are the same, and so therefore they are 4. What have you walked into? Indeed, Andrew. So that's also a 4, and then that's not a 4 for the same reason, so that's the 4. 4 can be red, but like regular red. Apologies for the weird up and down internet. I see the square that tells me how it's going sort of flashing between red and orange, which I've never seen before, and green. Uh so again, horrible apologies for whatever's happening. I don't know exactly what this looks like. These must be a combination of ones and twos. And this is always a 2. Because I can't make this 3 and I can't make it 2 ones. And so that's always a 2. And these are a 1-2 pair. And that lets me fill in that this digit is a 6 for sure. And now this digit can't be a 6, so that can't be a 2. So actually my 1s and 2s look like that. So there is black, there is yellow. Oh, 4s are green. Sorry, 4s are green. Sorry, red. Red, someday you will get to be a color, but today, red, I'm sorry, you do not get to be a color. Good spot. And 4 plus 1 is 5. So we have that as well. Also, this digit's a 4, because it's the sum of the 2 plus the 2. These digits now can't be 5 or 6 either. So this is not 5 or 6. This is 4, 7, or 9. We've got that. Let's see. Row 7, column 13 is trapped. Yeah, voters love Math Pesto, which I am not upset about. So Jay Dyer's point is that these sum to 13. So this digit is, in fact, known to be a 13. And so the question is, where is it getting its 13 cells? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is living in a group of 14 cells. So it must take those two, is the point. So these are also 13s, because I can't miss either of them. Oh, I'm being told it's actually 14? Ah, it is 14. That makes it a lot better. It's a lot better if it's 14. Because there are 14 of those. Oh, Josh has a cell I can get by math. Let's see. What color should 14 be? Well, red has been quite eager. Let's make red 14. Since red has been jumping the gun a little bit. Okay, so we've got all of that going. So 1 in the corner, 4 in the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Nope, it's right. I think. I also know there's a border here. So that forces the 4. So the 4 is going to come over here and finish. Like that. Is this the one that I can get by math? 2 plus 8. Oh, this is also 14, funnily enough. So the red actually gets to continue its life. It was not done. Yeah, probably because of the 15% of frames having been dropped, which, good God, is probably making making some people be behind, because I think that's how that works, although I don't quote me on it. Okay, so Josh had a cell I could get by math. What was it? Let me scroll back. Row 3, column 4. Yes, row 3, column 4 is something plus 4. So it's either 3 or... So this is a 3 or a 5. I don't think I know which one. I certainly know that this doesn't go up, because it's definitely odd. So whether this is a 3 or a 5, it certainly extends to this cell as well, to do that. This cell is now at least going to those two, which is going to force a black line here. So this cell's a 4, right? Because we know that this thing plus this is equal to that. And so this thing, that needs to be a 4. So we've got more 4s going into the grid because of math. So we've got all of that. And so now this digit is either 1 plus 3 or 1 plus 5. But it can't be 1 plus 5 is Jay Dyer's point. So this is a 4. These are 3s. 3s are purple. We can get rid of the line. We can put the border over there. And so now this is a 7. And so these are a triple of some description. I'm going to guess that Mark is not going to work well if I try and use him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 9. So these are 1, 2, and 9, apparently. But these aren't 9 because there's a 9 there. So therefore, this is a 9. And we finally, at long last, have the 1, 2 pair that we have dreamed of for our whole lives. These are from 1, 2, 3 for sure. Okay. Interesting. Well, this cell's never yellow, I suppose, is a dumb observation that I could have made forever ago. And this cell's never yellow either, so that's not yellow. So I can at least draw in some crisscrossy lines to make myself feel good about myself. I don't think it will help a whole lot, but it's something technically. So these digits are at most 4. And that one can't be 4, because one of these two is 4. Therefore, these digits are at most 3, because they have to escape through there. And so this digit's at most 6. But I don't know if knowing that this is at most 6 is very interesting. Let's see. Malcor's interested in row 5, column 5, which is currently at 1 plus 1 plus 2, which is 4, but needs to add a cell that can't be a 1, or I'd put 2 1s next to each other. So at least 6. And so this can only be 6 or 8. And if it's a 6, this is exactly a 2, and that's exactly a 2, which looks okay to me. If it's an 8, then that is a 3, and that's a 3. If the arrow is 2 plus 2, Carl points out, and some other people as well, what do I do with this domino is the problem. So if I just dump into demonstration land, if this is a domino, now these two have to live in their own omino, and that can be neither a domino nor 2 monominos, and I have now exhausted all of the partitions of 2. So those do not, in fact, have 2s in them. They are a 1 or a 3, and there's definitely a bar between them. And so now, this one's definitely not a 3, I can also note. So if this is a 3, then both of those are 3. If this is a 3, and maybe the 3 comes up here, I probably can sort of force this. This might be a little bit of bifurcation to figure this out. So the point by chat is that these two can't be 8, or can't sum to 8, because they would have to be 4 and 4, and that would make a 5-cell 4-omino. So this is definitely a 6, and if that's a 6, then this is a 2, and that's a 2, and I get to yellow some stuff. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong yellow. It will horribly upset someone if I do that. Let's see. And so, therefore, these two need to sum to 6, and one of them is a 4. And so these are a 2-4 pair, for sure. And whichever of these is a 2, it's going to make that a 2. And so I know that there's borders across here. Hey, Nicholas. Welcome to Zeta is Choppy Day. Oops, I did not mean to do that. So these are a 2-4 pair. Regardless of how it works, that ends up being a 2. How is this not a deadly pattern at the end? What arrow am I missing? That's going to decide what this is. Oh, it's these arrows. It's these arrows that are going to dictate it. Got it. Okay. So yes, whichever of these is a 3, it's going to make both of these 3, and so these are both going to be purple. And so we can probably use uniqueness to figure out how this is going to work out, because one of these is going to be 3, 3, 2, 4 or something. Probably. We can probably figure it out. I'm not particularly motivated to think about it at the moment, I admit. Let's see. Sudoku logically, one of these is a 6. Sudoku logically, one of these is a 4. This cell also sees this cell. That's helpful. So this is either a 3 or a 5. I can write out as a user of maths. These are big. And I think they could be equal, but I think we don't want them to be equal, because I think if they are equal, the puzzle will have 2 solutions. Oh, you know, Nicholas, I knew they were 3s, and I gave them 3's color, but I somehow failed to fill the digit 3 into the cells. But I did know that they were they were 3s. Maybe this arrow can do it. Yes, they were purple because they were 3s. I just, in the process of doing all of my various updating, failed to write 3 into the cell. Which is fair, I suppose. Let's see. How much am I supposed to think about what is happening Sudoku-wise in these cells? I don't know. This is at least 4, I suppose. So the total here is 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 2 is 12, plus 4 is 16, plus 6 is 22, if I did that right. I think these 2 cells sum to 22. So they're either both 11, or they're like a 10 and a 12 or something. Them being 10 and 12 sounds very bad. Because then they're going to have to like both make it out through here. And I worry that's going to cut off the 14 before I finish that many cells. Because how many cells are there in total in this area? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There are 25 cells in here. And so if there's 25 total cells that could be taken by the 14 and these 2, the only way these 2 are different is if one of them is 14. They're both odd, not both even, MicroStudy. And in fact, the fact that they're both odd tells me that neither of them is 14. And the fact that neither of them is 14 then tells me they have to be the same, because otherwise I would have to fit 22 plus 14 cells in here, and that's more cells than I just counted. Don't ask how many I just counted to, I have no idea. But these 2 are the same, and therefore they're 11. Oh, no, sorry, these are even. Sorry, I did not do my math right. These are even plus even, which is even. Okay, so these are different, and so one of them is 14. And so these are a 14 and an 8 in order to make this work. Would be really weird if that was the 14 there. It is 22, right? Do I need to recount that? So that's 10, 12, 16, 22. So yeah, these are a 14 and an 8. They're different, dog, because this 1-2 blocks in this huge region that's huge, but it's not huge enough to accommodate two of these. So one of them is 14. Oh, so it's 14 and 6. No, it's 14 and 8. It is 14 and 8. I did it right. Chat was trying to convince me that I did my math wrong, which sounds like me, but in this case it is 14 and 8. And so these are things, one of which is red, by the way. Okay, so I guess because one of them is red, I should definitely use my thing. This definitely needs to get out. It needs to keep getting out. And so that disambiguates my yellow. So my yellows are now 1 because this thing needs to get out around the 1. So yellow is in fact black. This thing is now part of this. This goes here. This is now a 2 by our previous work. Like that. This is going to grow whatever happens. Again, I'm looking for an 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's at least 8 as well. So this is not at 8 yet, so it needs to grow. So this needs to grow. And so this could be, I think, unfortunately, this could work either way as it currently sits. Oh, I see. The point is this one can't sum to 8. If I think about all the rules, it will be clear. This one can't possibly sum to 8, is Martin's point in chat, because it's 4 plus 3 plus 2 other numbers. So therefore, this one's 8, and this one is 14, and is therefore red. And in fact, all of these are therefore red. This 8 omino is done. I put one too many cells in it. We need a color for the 8 omino. So let's see. What color should the 8 omino be? Oh, we already have a color for 8 ominos. They're orange. Crazy. Okay, so now how do I actually make these work? They need to be a 1 and a 2, or it won't actually work. So we can zone off all of that, and so that is going to be the 4 and the 3. I need to do some coloring. 3 and 1. And I need to block that off. So we have that. Now, okay. So this is a 2 and a number bigger than 1. Yeah, because of the dropping frames, somehow that leads to chat being further behind live than normal. I don't 100% get why, but that means that everyone in chat is talking to me like 2 minutes in the past. So when I'm ignoring you, I'm actually not completely ignoring you. but it is coming up very weirdly because of this weird constant frame dropping. So there's probably something awful I can do with this. I know this isn't 1 or 2, so I can definitely draw a border there. And I know that these aren't the same, so I can definitely draw a border there. This is now known to be a 5, Nicholas points out. Very good. So that definitely is going to let me fill in these digits as being 1, 2, 3, and 8. And is going to put a 5 in one of these two cells. The 5 is going to join the 6 in these cells, actually, just by Sudoku. These are a 5, 6 pair. So these are a 4, 5, 6, 4, 7, 8 is the combo, so that's not an 8. So I can get rid of that. So one of these is an 8, I suppose, is the point. Okay. So, should I be looking vertically and see if there's any Sudoku stuff happening vertically? Okay, this is not a 3 or a 4. So this is a minimum of 5. I don't know if that's interesting or not. Probably not. You need to switch me to ASCII mode. I would probably be better in ASCII mode. I will concur. Hey Tony, welcome to the high tech issues stream, where the internet is just being weird. Let's see. 8 looks down column 8. 8 looks down column 8. That's true. So this is a minimum of 2 plus 3, which is a minimum of 5, plus 1 plus 2, which would be 8. And so therefore this is a 9. And so that is very nice. So this is a minimum of 3, and so it can only be 3 or 4. And now these are a maximum of 4, so they're from 1, 2, 3. Hey Hannah, I hope you're doing well. Great to have you here. See. So yeah, so this is 3 or 4 for whatever that's worth. Right, they can't be 1, 2. Okay, so that's Dog has a good point. They can't be 1, 2. If these are 1, 2, I end up with this pattern of 1, 2s. Actually, maybe that's okay. Is that pattern of 1, 2s acceptable here? I think not, because of this. Right, so if these are 1, 2, let's just imagine. If these are 1, 2, we'll put in a bifurcation marker. If these are 1, 2, what does it look like? So this could be the 1 and the 1, and the 2 and the 2 going up like that. That's a problem, though, because in that version, this arrow becomes a 2. Okay, so let's just note this digit here, whatever it is, it's certainly bigger than 3. Actually, maybe it could be exactly 3. Could this be exactly 3? If all of those are 1s? So I was going to try and put a border under this, but maybe not. So yeah, I think it maybe just works, but if it doesn't, it's because of these arrows. So I'm trying to understand if... So if it does happen, I think... Oh, well, if this is a 1, 2 pair... Okay, here's a proof. If these are a 1, 2 pair, I need the 2 to go in this column to go either up or down. And if the 2 grabs that arrow or that arrow, we're screwed. So it is eventually true, yes, that these have to be a 1-3 pair. And they're... So good spot, Dog. I was just not paying close enough attention. And so now that can't be the 2, so that's the 1. And if that's the 1, then that's the 3, and that's the 1. And so now this is a 3 to make the 3 work, and so these are all 1s. So let's try to do all of our phenomenology here. These are yellow. That is also a 2. We have lots of borders to draw in. Border, 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 border. None of these are 1s. And these certainly now can't be 4 or 5 anymore. And none of them can be 2. They just have to be a single Theorem. They have no choice. Because otherwise we have run into a problem. And so now these are right-inable. So that's a 4 and that's a 6. 4 already has a color. It's green. So 4 is green. And 6 is not yet colored. 6 can be blue, I believe. And so green gets out, blue gets out, green gets out, blue gets out, green gets out, and green is done. So these are 4s. These are all 6s. 6 gets out again. I can put in my border here. This is no longer able to be 4, although I doubt that's relevant. This certainly can't be 1. Again, these are certainly in the same omino. Oops. Ah! No! Stop it! These are certainly in the same omino. This digit is now a 2, because it points at a 1 plus 1. Over there. Now, this 9... makes this a 3 in order to make the sum actually 9. So these are both purple. We can do that. I'm going to just put a slash through these and get rid of the green because the green is confusing me. And I don't know if it's purple or not. It might be purple. But those two are definitely in the same omino. Let's see, row 15, column 8 by math has been called. Right, that's not the 6. MicroStudy has a good point. If the 6 went here, this would need to be a 12, which is a problem for some people who are not sort of bold enough to go putting 12s into their Sudoku grids yet. So this is a 7, in fact, actually, just by the column, because it's at least 7, but it's not an 8 or a 9, and so therefore this is a 1, and we get another little monomino. Okay, I will say I felt an enormous amount of guilt that there were so many monominos in Miami, because I think monominos are a little classless and tacky in Fillomino puzzles. But this puzzle has made me feel considerably better about my my number of monominos that happened in Miami. So let's see. What else can we do? So this number is at least a 12. I guess it's even more than that. This number is enormous. It's certainly not a 3. But this is a double-digit number. Whatever it happens to be. And so it's going to come out over to here for sure. And so these numbers, because they can't be orange, these numbers now are at most 5, because the omino has to fit in here. So we have that. This gets out. It's not relevant yet, but just wait. It's going to be someday, maybe, possibly. This 2 looks up. I probably should write in. This number's at least a 5, but there's no reason it can't be quite large, I don't think. Let's see. It is true that the Nori Nori was not allowed to have any monominoes, so we have to sort of balance them out. 3 looks up in column 1. 3 does look up in column 1. That's great. So that's a 1 and that's an 8. And these are not 1 or 8. And therefore, these are a pair of some sort. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we actually know the order because of that 7. That's a 1 and that's a 7. And then these are a triple of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That one's not a 9, at least. I'm sure there are other Sudoku places that I am ignoring. There's a point about row 7, column 7. Let's see. What is the point about row 7, column 7? Is it big? Let's see. It's not that big. I mean, it doesn't have to be that big, but it could be big, I think. So are people wanting me to count? Is that what's happening here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so there's only 2 cells in this region that are not part of the thing. And so the point is, these 2 are part of the same region because it's not a 1 or a 2. But because it's not a 2, it therefore has to be red, because if it was anything but red, then we'd run out of room for the red. That's the point that chat has wanted me to see this whole time. And likewise, these have to be red because of the same reason. And I guess technically this could be a monomino. This can't be as small as 2 in any universe, because it's summing too many cells to be as small as 2. So it therefore also has to be red. So we now need 2 monominos in here. And so one of these is red and the rest are monominos. If that was red, it would, and the rest were if this was red and these were the monominos, that would not work because it would isolate this. So this is one of the monominos. And now, if this is a monomino, it now isolates that, so that one has to be red, and therefore that's a monomino. It's crazy to me that that's forced from there. It does not look like it to me. So we can do all of that. It's a 4 and a 1. We can do all of that. Okay, so that is all done. I can look down this column and now see that these 3 cells sum to 14. Hey, Lytton, I hope you're doing well. Okay, so now I had asked myself before if this could be a 3, and now it can't. Because if this is a 3, let me show you using Carnival Cake. If this is a 3, this is also a 3. But now these 2 add to 6, which would make that an 8. But I don't have room for an 8. And so my conclusion, therefore, is that the 3 does not go down, which I know is a very minuscule conclusion, but it is a conclusion nonetheless. This digit is certainly... I am doing pretty well. Tech issues aside, we've had some frame droppage issues today, and some. Yes, this cell is even, right? I saw that and was like, can I write 2, 4, 6, 8 in it? And was like, no, I can't. So I wasn't going to mark it, but I should have sort of mentally paid more attention because it does mean it's not 3. The reason why is these two are the same number, so their sum is even. And so even plus what equals 14? The answer is this has to be even. So it's not part of the 3 region. So the 3 region goes over there, is chat's point. And so these can't be 1 and 1. They could maybe be 2 and 2. No, they can't, because then this would need to be a 10, and it can't be. These can't be 3 and 3. If these are 4 and 4, then this number needs to be 6, which it can't be. So these are at least 5 and 5, in which case this is 4. Or they're 6 and 6, in which case this is a 2. And so those are the only options. So these are 4 and 4. Sorry, I think I wrote the wrong numbers here. No, sorry. These are 5 and 5 or 6 and 6. And then this is 2 or 4, I believe. Just by sort of exhausting the possibilities. So this number here, being a 5 or a 6, makes this number at least 6. So this is a 6, 7, or a 9 by Sudoku. Let's see. Is this going to join that? I don't think I know yet. So this number is at most 4, for sure. I'll go ahead and fill that in. Let's see. This number is interesting, because it's the sum of these two. So this number can only be an 8 or a 9, and it can't be a 9. There we go. MicroStudy said Sudoku, and it took me forever to find the Sudoku. But there's the Sudoku. So this digit is the sum of those two, but this digit can't be a 9. So it's an 8, which makes that a 5 and that a 5. Which makes that a 4. So it's green. Therefore, that cell is green, because if it's not, I can't finish the green. This 5 can't finish back there, so it always comes here at least. And now the 5 actually has to extend even further, because the 5 can't take both of those cells. So the 5 actually connects right into there. And now I need a color for 5, which I don't think we have yet. Yeah, we do not yet have a color for 5. We can make 5 this other shade of green, because 5s are supposed to be green. We just have to decide what shade of green this 5 is going to be. It will be this sort of... actually, we're going to make it Hunter. Hunter hasn't made an appearance on stream in a bit, and Hunter's a bit jealous. So we're going to Hunterize the 5s. So we can nab all of that, border around those, and we therefore now have some other digits, probably. So this can't be as big as 3 or 4. And it can't be a 1 either. This can only be a 2, with that also being a 2. Because otherwise I'd put 2 monominos next to each other, and we're not supposed to put 2 monominos next to each other, which has made that a 7, which has meant that one of these is a 7. I'm just going to drop over there for later when I'm looking at that grid. This column, Sudoku-logically, is missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9 are the digits that are missing in this column. That one's not a 9 by Sudoku. I don't necessarily see any other immediate deductions. This is a... Well, this region is either a 4 and a 1, or a 4 and the 3, because I need to fill 3 cells here. 2 of them are the 4s. This one, therefore, has to be a 4, because it can neither be part of the 3 nor part of the 1. So this is always part of the 4. And so now this is 1 or 4, and this is 3 or 4, I believe. Yeah, this is 3 or 4. This is 1 or 4. One of those assuredly is on an arrow that I have not appreciated. I don't see it yet, though. Row 15, column 9, I am being told. Ah, good, good, good. So this number is the sum of 6 plus these two. Well, therefore, these two have to be a 1, 2 in order to make that work. And this has to be a 9. In order to... Oh, and I know which one is the 2, because there's a 1 next to it. So these are 2. This is 1. We could cross this here. These aren't 1 or 2. They're at least 3, and so they're going to come over here. And in fact, they therefore must be 3 because of my note, because of that. So that is, these are all 3s over here. Yeah, the dropping frames, I don't understand why, MicroStudy, and I know you're probably not seeing this until 20 minutes from now. Dropping frames, for whatever reason, makes people fall behind, even though it kind of feels to me like it should be, if anything, the opposite, but what are you going to do? Let's see, that is 6. So this is orange is 17, for the record. Okay. Yeah, if it skips frames, you should be, like, seeing the video in the future. I agree. Yeah, I think every time it drops a frame, you should be looking at Zeta from a frame in the future. I think no one would complain about that. Okay, so now chat is all telling me orange is 17, when in my mind that was like 5 minutes ago that I filled in that orange is 17. So these two are a sum to 7 that's not 1, 6. Yeah, it's not 1, 6. So these are either 2, 5 or 3, 4. For whatever it is worth. 9 in column 9 looks up. That 9 does indeed look up. Good. So therefore that's a 9. The nice thing about this puzzle is that even if people are way behind, they're probably seeing things I haven't looked at because there's so many things to see in the puzzle. So that is a plus. I do appreciate that this puzzle has been fairly loose so far, in terms of how forgiving it has been at letting us find a bunch of things. Nicholas would like us to mark that one of these two is an 8. This sum is big, whatever it is. I don't know how big, but I know it's big. Let's see. There we go. There's a 9 in this row that I was missing, but was pointed out by Dog. Hey, Memrister, I hope you're doing well. So there's the 5, 6 there, and so therefore that's a 9. Oh, that is annoying, Josh. I sympathize with you. That's hopefully you can at least set it back, and then it'll stick to 1.25 after you get it set back. Let's see. At least my very rough theory with regards to the internet is that if the internet is going up and down this much, it's probably not my laptop, but who knows? Could I talk 1.25 times? You know, students on my course evaluations rarely ask me to speak faster, but maybe I can try just for this. Uh, uh, let's see. So whatever this is, these aren't the same. There's sort of like a virtual border between these. Uh, does look like these can be 2, 2. I'm probably supposed to be trying to do Sudoku now, but I don't know for sure. Uh, uh, let's see. These are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if that's going to do anything interesting. This one's not 3, at least. That might be literally all I know. Oh, this one's not 2. Uh, let's see. Ah, good. Okay, so Nicholas points out this is at most 6 because it sees a 7, 8, 9, which is interesting. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And therefore these are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they are providing a wall for where the 17 omino goes. Let's see. So I think Jay would like us to count what happens if we don't let the 17 arrow get to one of these, which is that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So yeah, so one of these has to be 17 arrow. So one of these two has to be part of the 17 arrow, and the 17 arrow can't take this side because that would make this side enormous, and there's not enormous amounts of room for an enormous omino. So in fact, Jay's point, I completely agree, is that I should put the orange not where I just put it. I should put the orange there. The orange does not grow here. I don't know how I even deleted that wall. So therefore the orange comes up here, like that. Okay, and so this sum is 17, and so I can do math. That's a 7. That means this is a 5, which I believe has a color. It's Hunter. Hunter comes back. Hey, Hunter. Which Sudoku color do you have a crush on? For me, it's Hunter. Let's see. Okay, so there we go. So that being a 17 made this a 5 if I did the math correctly. And now, in total up here, there are exactly enough cells for me to just make all of those part of the 17 and call it good. But every time the 17 goes down from here, I can push the 5 up by 1, so I've got that. Hunter needs to grow, but I think Hunter can grow either direction. I'm being encouraged to look at row 7, column 7. So there's a 14 sum going down here. So the point is a sum to 14 can only have, so this is Carl's point, a sum to 14 can only have so many 17s in it. And so in particular, it does not have these cells in it. So these aren't orange, which means that orange, in fact, needs to push down at least 1 in order to make that work. Now, I probably want to, like, count some sort of combined count, but this seems a little bit irksome. Actually, no, these just need to both be 4. Not necessarily. Right. I do know that none of these are orange. I don't know a great way to mark that. But if none of these are orange, that means that orange actually connects this way, is the point. And therefore hunter comes down like this, is the point. Oops. So we get all of that. So these are for sure 5s. And I can actually put the borders there that I now know exist over there. Now I get at most 3 more orange cells down here. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so all of these have to be orange now. Because if I don't make all of those orange, I don't get to 17. So we have all of those going on. And so I can fill in my 17. 7 in the center, 1 in the corner. Therefore, that finishes this 3, which then finishes this 4 over here like that. This cell certainly becomes hunter. And now these are definitely a 2, 5. Because one of these is now part of a sum to 7, and one of them is a 5. So these are a 2, 5 pair, and it's not that one because that one goes with that one. So these are the 2. And this is the 5. And we get another monomino. Oh, that would be really cool. A counter of how many cells you have selected would be very helpful. It's not my favorite basis for deductions, but I'd hate it less if Sven would count for me. So we get all of that. Although I have not been bothered by any of the counting in this one so far. Maybe I'm just getting used to it. I'm not sure. Let's see. So these cells are at most 4, which means that these digits sum to at most 8. And with this digit, because that digit is the sum of these two, they sum to 14. So therefore, this is a 6, and these are both 4s. Now, by virtue of being 4s, they are green. This cell must also be green. So it's also a 4. And this cell is connected to it, so it's green and also a 4. So we can draw this there. These are not 4. That is a 6, which does go back and make this a 5, which makes that a 6. We'll go ahead. So we've got a column of the Sudoku done. So we're 1/9 done now. So we have all of that. These are also from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because they're part of a sum of 6. And therefore, all of these are at most 5. So the bet tree is at most 12,345. So apologies to those of you who bet above 12,345. Oh, how did 17 end up the same color as 8? I don't know. 17 needs its own color. So 17, it seems like a good use for royal purple, right? Then everyone in chat can sing. Okay. Well, this can't be an 8 anymore. If that can't be an 8 anymore, this can't be a 5 anymore. Because this is... this plus those two is equal to this. So this being a 5 would be too big. So therefore, these aren't 4 anymore. These are from 1, 2, 3. Just based on that sort of chaining together. Uh, these again are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. While we are marking off stuff that is not that big. Okay, I probably should be trying to do Sudoku now. So one of, oh no, sorry, I was going to say one of those two is a 5. That's not correct. Where are my 9s? So one of these two is a 9. And one of these two is a 9. Would be very natural for that to be a 9, I feel like. But who knows? See, the only way that this works out without these, there being a border between these, is if these are both 2 and that's a 4, and then these are a 1, 2 pair. But these could also be double 2, looking over at that. Oh, this 6 looks up. That's a good point. It's a 5 and that's a 6. Ah, now that 6 looks down, making this a 7. Unfortunately, I didn't want that to be a 7. I wanted it to be a 6. So that 7 is going to mean one of these two is a 7. And that 7 is going to mean one of these two is a 7. Is this where it is revealed that there's actually a negative constraint on arrows that I need to use to finish the puzzle? This is not a 7. Okay, this row, what is it missing? Okay, well, this is not a 5, because the thing the row is missing is not a 5. So this row is missing a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4, and not a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one I know is not a 2, at least. Yep, and I don't really know anything about the others Sudoku-logically, I don't think. Do I know anything about where the 6 is in this box? I don't think so. Oh, there's some 6s over here. J Dyer is pointing out. Is it obvious that this cell can't be a 6? I don't think so. I do know one of these two is a 2. Let's see. Okay, so 2 in column 15 can only go in one of these cells. And it's not that one, actually. Oh, no, it could be that. No, it could be that one, maybe. Can these be a 1 and a 1? Let's double check. But it's certainly confined to this box. This is Malcor's point. Can this be a 1 and a 1? No, because if this is a 1, it makes that a 1. So actually 2 is only in one of these 2 places in this column. And if that's a 2, it makes these a 1 and a 1, which is maybe okay. This digit can't be larger than 10. Let's see. 8 in this box is certainly in one of these 2 cells, just by Sudoku. I am still on this puzzle. We have dropped many frames today, Tristan. We have dropped 23% of frames on average today. So we can look forward to trying to figure out how to deal with that. Let's see. Should I just fill these in and hope? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, with all the dropped frames, I probably have been done this puzzle for an hour. That's very possible. This is not a 2. Okay, I don't think that helps me a whole lot, I'm going to be honest. I Am I actually going to be forced to think about how these 6 sums work? Because that sounds painful. Yeah, we got the 2. We already pencil marked that 2, Malcor. You might be a bit behind, although if you're a bit behind, you won't hear me saying you're behind until a while from now. Okay, so this number is not 7, 8, or 9. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's certainly not 1. It can't be 2, because that would require it to be 1 plus 1. It's not 3, 5, or 6, actually, because of the column. So in fact, this is just a 4, which is very, very nice. So these are from 1, 2, 3 as well. So this is only 1, 2, or 3. I know one of these 2 is 2. Because whichever of these is 2 puts a 2 down here. Right. 1, but not both of these is 2. So if I'd have paid attention, I actually could have written that in a while ago. So this can't be the 6 anymore because 2 plus 4 is no longer available. So that's the 6. And this can't be a 1 and a 2 because that would sum to 3, and that can't be a 3. So in fact, this is a 2 and a 3, and that's a 5. And so these are a 2, 3. It's funny, these corner marks make it look like this isn't a 2, but of course that's not how it works. These are from 1, 2, 3, 4. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 8 is the answer. These aren't 3. At least. Oh, good spot from Amy. These are actually a 6, 9 pair because 6 goes in the same cells as these. So we get to upgrade. And these become a 1, 3, 4 triple, I think. Okay, so the 2 ends and the 3 goes down. So one of these 2 is definitely a 3, possibly both of them. Let's see, Malcor is asking if these can still both be 1. I think the answer is no, but I think it's really ugly. I certainly know this isn't a 1, by the way. If these are both 1, let me just try and show you what I'm thinking. If these are both 1, now in here I have a 2 that comes down by 1, and a... Oh, crap, no, it works perfectly. Sorry, nope, it works fine. I have a 2 and a 3, and they would just go down like that, and it would be fine. So I think it actually is very likely that this is a 2. Let's see. 4 can't be 2 plus 2. I completely missed the 4 arrow. I don't think my brain really processed the 4 arrow. The 4 arrow is not 2 plus 2 because that would isolate a 3 without a friend. So in fact, that's going to make this the 3, the 1, the 2, and the 2, and the 1, and the 3, and the 3. And now that is finally, thank you for pointing that out to the many of you in chat who generously pointed out the arrow, is going to make this an 8, which is going to make this a 5, which is going to make this a 5. And we've got some coloring to do. So that is black. This is yellow. This is purple. That is black. This is Hunter. Hi, Hunter. Hey, Casey. I hope it's okay with you that we have Hunter green 5s. Okay. The 5 can't take both of those. Is that interesting? Maybe it's not interesting at all. Oh, if that's an 8, that's not an 8. Can at least do that much. These aren't 8s anymore. And in fact, that now is the 2, because we had 2's corner marked into those 2 cells. So these were never actually 2's secretly. So this is not a 1 or a 3. This 2, 4, or 5. That 8 looks over and places this 8. Now, so this digit's at least 5, but it's not 5 or 6. So this digit can only be 7 or 8. Actually, this digit can only be 8, because it's more than 5, but it's not 5 or 6 or 9 or 7. So this digit's a naked 8, which makes that a 4, which makes it regular green. Now, that's going to force the 5 to take one of the cells in this sum, and one of the cells down here, but not necessarily one of the cells in the 6 sum. But it is going to mean that this is more than 5. So it's more than 5, and it's not 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. So this is a 9. And so what that tells me is that these cells are actually a 4-5 pair, because I know one of them is a 5. So these cells are legitimately a 4-5 pair. Now, if that's a 4 or a 5, this is a 1 or a 2, because it sums to 6. And therefore, this 4-5 does not go that way. And so this 4-5 comes up here, making this a 4 or a 5. About half a puzzle, Selena. You missed about half a puzzle. So that 1, 2... Yeah, so the question is... Oh, so these can't be 5s, because if these were 5s, this 5-omino would have 4 things in it. So they aren't 5s, so these are 4s. And that is green. Fascinatingly enough. Which now lets Hunter run down here, as Hunter is wont to do, making these 5 and 5. Hunter's a little bit shy, but is learning to enjoy his time in the spotlight. This 1 or 2 is also not Hunter, so this is Hunter. So we get all of that. So that's not 5, and the bedding tree is also not 5. So this digit can only be a 1, 2, or 3, because it can't be as big as 4, for whatever that is worth. Oh, fancy, fancy, fancy. Okay, so people are realizing that I can set up a system of equations to solve for this, this cell. Because if I call this cell x and this cell y, and I call 6z, then x plus y is z. But then if I substitute the known values and subtract, I'll get that this is a 1. So we will fill that in, like that. This will come down here. This is not a 1, so that's not a 1. And if that's not a 1, that's not a 5, at the very least. Let's see. Let's see, this 9 looks over and places this 6 and 9. So those are sorted now. That 6 looks back over and says this isn't a 6. Oh, that's not an 8 either. So this is actually the 8 in this box. And if that's the 8, then that's the 6. To make that all work out. I think I did that right. Maybe, possibly. This is a 1, 2, 3, because 4 and 5 are going in the column, and 6, 7, 8, 9 are going in the box. Let's see. This is only a 1, 2, or 3, I guess. I guess I can sort of fill in this row. This row is missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is missing 1, 2, 3, 5. These aren't 3. That one's not 5 either. So this is only 1 or 2. This one I don't think I know anything about. This one's not 5 at the very least. Let's see. These aren't 2, I see now. And they're not 5 either. So maybe I should fill in this row as well. We need a 1, we've got a 2 and a 3, we need a 4, we've got a 5, we need a 6 and a 7. So these are from 1, 4, 6, 7. That one's definitely not a 4 because there's 1 in the column. This one's not a 6 because there's 1 in the column. There's already a 6 in column 8. I don't know what that was referring to. Oh, this column 8. Sorry, that column 8. So that's a 4 and a 1 and a 7 and a 6 and a 7. Okay, that was very helpful. Thank you to whoever pointed that out. So this is not a 4. That's not a 1. So this is a 2, 3, 5 sort of situation. That's a 2, 3 pair in the column, which has made this a 1, which has made these not a 1. That's not a 1 either. It's only a 3 or a 4. These digits are allowed to be 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, not 6, 7, 8, or 9. So these are from 1, 2, 4, 5. That one's not a 5. Is this the only... No, this is not the only space for 5 in the column. Let's see. This has to be a 5 by a unique rectangle, because otherwise this would be a 2, 3 deadly pattern. So this is a 5, which is going to be very helpful. Let's see. That 1, 3 pair looks over at those 1s as being pointed out. The 14 arrow couldn't disambiguate because that's, yeah, they're in the Sudoku grid. Yeah, Doug saw that. So the 3 and 4 in this column are here because that's a 2 or a 5 and makes that. So these are not, this is not 3 or 4. This is only 2 or 5. The 4 in column 15 looks up. It does, making that a 7. Making that not a 7. And then that 7 looks down, making that a 7. I'm going to guess this is neither a 7 nor a 9, if I'm taking a wild stab at it. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's certainly not a 1, by virtue of the arrow. Let's see. Oh, there's an 8 in this column, which has made that a 4 and an 8. The 4 looks down and sees that that's not a 4. Oh, column 15 only has 1 digit left. I think it's a 1 because I've got the 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep, so that just is a 1. That's helpful. Good to know. So that's not a 1. That's not a 1. So those are a 3, 4 pair, making that a 1. That 1 has made that a 2 and a 4 and a 3 and a 2. So this is not 2 or 4, so it's 5, and that's a 1. That 2 has made that a 3, which has made that a 2 and a 3. So this is not a 2 or a 3, so it's a 5, and that's a 2, as we learned from uniqueness earlier. So we've got that. Do we still somehow have some stuff to do? That's not a 1 anymore, at least. Oh, column 8, I only have 1 thing left. Oh, column 8, I only have 1 thing left. That's good. So that's a 2. So that's not a 2. In fact, that's not a 2, and that's not a 2 either. That's a 3, 4 pair, which has made that a 2. Which has made that a 1 and that a 2. The 1 looks down, which has made that a 3 and that a 1. It's a 4 in column 6 that looks up. Column 6 is not a Sudoku column, unless we mean this column. Yeah, not quite sure. Okay. These are certainly from 1, 2, 3, 4. I might as well fill in while I'm marking candidates on everything. Probably just have to force one of these arrows. Oh, actually, in this column, I know the sum of these is 7, and they're from 1, 2, 3, which means that they're a 1, 2, and a 1, 3. So I can actually draw in a little border here. So that's at least a little something. It is minuscule. I can also draw in a border here, because I know that that these two sum to 7, and so they're not the same. Okay. So whichever of these is a 2 or a 3... Oh, it could be 2, 2. Dagnammit. Could be 2, 2, you're right. Well, this border is still real. And neither of these can be 6, so neither of these are 1, at the very least. These are from 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6 in row 14, column 14, has to be 2, 4. So this can't be a 5 because it's the same as that, would be one good observation to make. And if this was 3, 3, it would also make this a 3, which would be a problem because this wouldn't have anywhere to go. So I agree with MicroStudy that, in fact, actually, this is a 2, 4. And so, therefore, the betting tree is not a 3. It is a 1, 2, or 4. Sorry, Jaleb. Sorry, Jaleb. You have entered near the end of a monster. But welcome, Malrog. I hope you enjoy the monster. So now the point is now there's not enough room for a 5, because the only cells that can be 5 are these 5, but they certainly can't all be 5, so therefore none of them can be 5. And therefore this is a 3-4 pair. And therefore these are a 3-4 pair, because the 3 and 4 both have to get out, and they can't sort of finish over here without destroying the universe. So the 3-4 pair sort of continues over here. So if this is a 3, it goes that way, and if it's a 4, it goes that way. Do we have a link to this puzzle anywhere? I can send you one, I believe. Let's see. This is called Field Lines. Copy link address. Here is a link to the puzzle. Row 14, column 13. Oh, this cell. Haha. There is another arrow that I have not seen. This cell is the sum of these two. Well, that sum is certainly no longer 2 or 3. It's a minimum of 4. Oops, sorry, wrong mode. And now this is a maximum of 2. Because if this is any larger than 2, then the sum is too big. But that means that this omino actually backs its ass up back this way. But these are therefore separated because I can't have 2 3s. And so these are 3s. That's a 1. These are therefore 4s. And so we get these things here. Yeah, today there have been some interesting internet issues, Malcolm, which have led to weird out-of-sync timing issues. So that's definitely a 4, so that's definitely a 5, so that's a 3, so that's a 3. That 3 means that's a 4, and that's a 3. That makes that a 5, makes that a 4. And we're done our Sudoku. And so now that we're done the Sudoku, we still know one of these is a 4. What thing is looking at these cells? There must be something looking at these cells, right? Oh, this 7, right, this 7. So these are now a 1-2 pair. And so if those are a 1-2 pair, I no longer have room for a 3 anywhere in here, because one of these two is a 4, and so I don't have 3 cells. I can't make all 3 cells that would have to be a 3 a 3. So we have that handled. So if this is a 1, that doesn't work. Because if this is a 1, that makes this into a 2-2, and that adds to 8, not 7. So this is a 2, making it yellow for sure. Now, if this is a 1, now that's a problem, because if this is a 1, now that's a 2, and my domino has 3 cells in it, so that's not a 1. So now, so this is word. It's this being a 1 that's the problem, so this is the 1. So therefore that is yellow, and we can come over here and do all of that. So now this is not 1 or 2, so by phenomenology it's a 4. So we can make that green. We have Monomino 700,000 over here. Oh, this Monomino isn't labeled. I don't know if chat has been complaining about that the whole time and I've just missed it. So now this digit's no longer able to be a 4. This digit certainly can't be a 4, so it's a 2 in order to make this all work. So that is a 2. And now we play find the arrow that Zeta doesn't see at this particular moment. It's the 5. So this is a 1. And therefore the betting tree is a 2. Congratulations to all the 2-betters out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. All 136 minutes of your betting tree wishes, I hope they come true. That was very fun. I enjoyed that a lot. And for once, I think I got all the steps in a math pesto puzzle. Lately, every math pesto puzzle, there's like one step where I do something heinous to get around whatever the intended logic is that I don't see. But in this puzzle, I think everything felt natural and like I was finding the right thing. Very cool puzzle. Very cool. I liked that a lot. Uh, and I think we managed to like color every Fillomino size differently because there weren't that many Fillomino sizes, despite the Fillomino grid being huge. Uh, anyway, I'm going to take a quick break to stretch and get myself a pillow for my back, which is killing me. I'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. Next up, I have this puzzle by MicroStudy, who you may know from the chat, that is called the four-color theorem, which is a reference to, I don't know, I've done like 3 different four-color theorems. I think J. Dyer's was the first, but chat may correct me and tell me J. Dyer's was actually riffing on someone else's, I do not know. But anyway, I've done many of them before, but this one's a Fillomino, which you might discover by the fact that there's 2 6s in the bottom row, which might be concerning. So here are the rules. So we have to do the Fillomino thing again. No Sudoku in this one, just Fillomino. We need to do the 4-color theorem thing. So every region must be entirely one color, and there's a total of 4 different colors. So does MicroStudy have a canonical choice of 4 colors that we should pick out of the standard Zeta palette that should be the 4 colors? Additionally, regions of the same color must be different sizes. So I'm guessing, so regions of the same color can't touch, and they can't be the same size. And then digits on arrows indicate the distance to the nearest cell of the same color in the indicated direction. Adjacent cells have a distance of 1. So none of the arrows contain 1s. Not all arrows are necessarily given. So every arrow contains a digit that is between 2 and 9. I think that's probably worth marking, because we've got it narrowed down pretty much already. And some of them are even smaller than that. Maybe I should do that. Because I probably want to actually do this more systematically, because I can notice, like, this can only be a 2, for example. Actually, wait, could it be in the same region? Sorry, I don't think arrows actually... row 8, column 7. Sorry, I think it's possible that the arrow is actually internal to an omino. Sorry, I think I am wrong. I think these can be 1 if, for example, these 2 are the same color. So I think that's okay. So I think this is a 1 or a 2. Oh no, it can't be a 1, because if it's a 1, then it's a 1. Which I know is a ridiculous thing to say, but I actually just discovered this when I was trying to do some similar thing the other day. So these 2 actually aren't in the same omino, because if they were in the same omino, let's just say they were blue, this digit would be a 1, but now blue omino, and that doesn't work. So it is true, although it's not explicitly stated in the rules, that all of these arrows have these things. And I'm assuming that when there's 2 arrows, I just treat the arrows separately and don't sum them like some people. So therefore, this is a 2, and we get a digit from a very generous MicroStudy. So let us do our dance for the 2. Woohoo! Woohoo! Waha! Waha! Woohoo! Thank you, Zach. I resisted very, very, very much. You'll be happy to know the temptation to use Zach as a lumbar support pillow. So this 2 has a color, and it's the same color as this, but it's not the same color as this. But this is also a 2 for exactly the same reason, and so it is the same color as that. So this yellow is a monomino, because it can't go there, and so this blue is at least a triomino, because we already have the blue domino. And so therefore, and so therefore, the nearest blue cell is at least this far away, so that's not blue. So therefore, this is blue. And is the finishing of the 2, as they say. This thing, I don't know what color it is, but I know it's the same. It's in the same region as that one. Ah, so what is this number going to be? Ah, this could be blue. If this is blue, these point at each other, and that's broken. So this can't be blue, in fact. Uh, so if this is blue, these point at each other and therefore are both equal to 4, but that's 2 4-ominoes unless I figure out how to join them through a nether portal. Please do not make that puzzle, Playmaker, please. So therefore, this is not blue. So it's not pointing at that cell. It's not pointing at that cell. It's therefore pointing at one of these two, but therefore it's pointing at that one. And so this is also a 2. It's just another color of 2. And so the 2 doesn't touch other 2s. So it goes that way. And therefore these are red. That's not red because of reasons. So therefore that is red because there's already a red 2. So therefore that's yellow, and it's the yellow 2. So we can get rid of that, create that border and those borders. So we have that. This cell now must be the 4th color because it's not. Oh, maybe it's not. If it could be a big cell of some color, I believe. This can't be. This again can't be blue, and it can't be red. It could be a yellow 3. If this is yellow, it's a 3. Otherwise, it's not one of those. Oh, this cell. This cell must be blue. So the cell that I just said, if it was blue, it's a 3. It's not blue. So this is blue, as is pointed out by Malrog, which means this is not blue. Because this cell must point at that cell. Now, as its only option, because it can't be red, because it would be pointing at a 2, and therefore it is a 3. Oh, it could never have been blue anyway, because if it had been blue, it would have touched another blue. Anyway, I broke the puzzle. Oh, right, only that one's the 3, Zeta. Only that one is the 3. Not that one. That one, thank you, keypad, much appreciated. So this 3 points at there in green, and we have established our 4 colors, so now every cell must be one of these colors. That's the blue 3, so this is not a blue 3, so blue grows. Hey, Riff Clown, hope you're doing well. If this red grows, then this is a green 1. Seems plausible. Wait, this could be yellow, actually. Sorry, that's a good point. This could be yellow. Why did I think it couldn't be yellow? I don't know. Yeah, this is green or yellow. I don't know. I just, somehow in my head, it was clearly not yellow. It's being pointed out, though, that now I will know that because this 3 touches this current triomino, so the current triomino grows, and therefore this is a monomino, but yellow already has a monomino, so therefore this is not yellow, it is green, and so therefore my justification has been finished. The 2 doesn't touch another red omino, so therefore this is 2 and is red. I really like this so far. I think these 2 are always in the same omino for a reason that is always sort of weird to me. But I think it's true. Because if these 2 aren't in the same omino, yeah, then that does not work for lots of reasons. So these 2 are in the same omino. Pick your favorite proof. Now, how many monominos have I had? I've only used 2 monominos so far, but that can't be a red monomino. Oh, and it can't be a blue monomino either. So this is never a monomino, because if it were a monomino, it could only be red or blue, and red and blue both touch it. So therefore, this actually all connects, and therefore the 3 comes over here. So there is a green 3. Row 2, column 7... was not blue because there was already a blue 3, is the way we knew Jim. So this 3 certainly can't go up, or it would create 2 3s, so that's not going to work. Also, this actually touches a 3, so it's actually expanding. And it's yellow now, because it touches 3 colors that aren't that. So this is a yellow that's at least 4. Now this can't be pointing at yellow, because it would be a yellow 2, and there already is a yellow 2. So it's blue. Blue is the only color this can be, and it's a blue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a blue 6. So therefore it grows like that. This cell certainly isn't blue, and it's not green. So this cell is yellow or red. I'm not immediately seeing how I know which of those it is. Oh, this 3 has an arrow in it, so it points at that cell. And therefore this is an arrow that must contain a 2, because it can't be 1 or 3. And so that is a... Sorry, this is green. And so we get that kind of dance. This is at least a 4 now. Let's see. This arrow is interesting. It must be yellow, I think. It's yellow or blue, I suppose. So if it's yellow... Oh, I drew this extra border for no reason. This certainly can't be a 1 or a 2, because I have a 2 in every color now, I think. Yeah, I have a 2 in every color. So there are no more 2s to be found. So this is at least a 3, but it can't be a 3. So it's either pointing at yellow or pointing at blue. If it was blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it was blue, it would be the second blue 6. That's adorable. So it's not blue, it's yellow, and is a 5. Which is fantastic. Oh, the 6 could connect. Oh, no, you're right. The 6 could connect. So this is a 5 or a 6. If it's the 6, it's that 6. Which would maybe work if the 3 and the yellow came over like that. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. I had not contemplated that reality. This cell must be a 3. Because, again, all the 2s are gone, and the 2s aren't going to connect. So what 3s do I have left? The 3s I have left are red and yellow. So this is red or yellow, and this is red or yellow. And so this is a 3 or a 4 for the thing. Yeah, so let's just write in that this is 3 or 4 now. Okay, so I have 3 3s. So the question is this a 3 or is it not? And I don't think I know the answer. What about this one? It's not a 2, so it's at least a 3. If it's a 3, it's the same color as that one, but that's okay. Otherwise, it could be a 4 or a 5. That's okay. That's a good spot from Nicholas. This is always an 8 or a 9, and so therefore it grows quite a bit. And so by virtue of being an 8 or a 9, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's not an 8 because 8 would put a green on top of a green. See, I told you there was a border there. No one believed me, but I told you. So this is a 9. And I have to remember that I can't put any blues anywhere in this row. And so in particular, this 3 does not go down. And so the 3 finishes like that. No one believes me. So this red has become a red 4. So we've got that. Let's see. So that's a 2. This is not green or blue, so I'm just going to mark that this is red or yellow. Just to keep my sanity about me. Let's see. So this can't be a monomino for the same reason this couldn't be a monomino. So let's do that. So if this were a monomino, it would have to be red or blue, but it touches red or blue, so it doesn't work. So now it's not a monomino. It's not a domino because it touches a domino. It's not a triomino because it touches a triomino. It's not the same as that. It's not a quadromino because of that, so it's going to come over there at least. So the absolute minimum size of this monster is 5, and this monster touches everything but yellow, so it is yellow, which then resolves that this is not yellow. So it is in fact a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so that 6 is going to come at least to here, which is then going to force the 3 to come here. So we are going to have some greening going on, which is then going to finish the 6. Great spot that those 6s could connect, Selena, by the way. I completely missed that. So this is a 4 or a 5. If this were a monomino, what color would it be? It would be red. So the question is this a red monomino? Oh, I can count this arrow. That's probably a good idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is either a 5 or a 6. Those are the only options. Oh, but it can't be a 6 because it touches a 6, so it's a 5. MicroStudy is so good at this. This is adorable. So this has to be a 5 because 6 is too big because it would touch a 6. And if that's a 5, that means this is a 4, which means that this is a 1. Which means that it is the color that it can be that's a 1. So it's not yellow or green or blue. It is therefore, this is the red 1. This yellow is not yellow anymore because it touches a red. Red already has a monomino, so the red grows. Red touches a domino, so the red grows. So this is the 2. I am absolutely adoring this rule set, I must say. So this blue certainly doesn't go up because then it would touch that. So the blue needs to grow. Oh no, blue is the one color that could still have a monomino. So this could be a blue monomino. This cannot be a monomino, however, because if this was a monomino, it would need to be blue. It's the only color that doesn't have one, but it would touch blue in a gazillion places. Now, dominoes we have in every non-blue color and in blue, so this is not a domino, so it grows again. Green already has a triomino, so this in fact grows again. By the way, this has become green. So now this is at least 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is between 4 and then 5, 6, 7. So this is between 4 and 7. Just to keep track of that. Let's see. What color is this cell? It's not blue or yellow. It is true, 4 would break, because 4 would make this cell green, and there's no greens above it, and this cell would be an infinity, and I don't have enough cells to fit an infinity in here. So I agree with that assessment. Should I mark down what colors this can be? Oh, Nicholas has a smart spot. Red already has a tetramino, so this is a triomino. So we can do that, and therefore that cell is red. And this cell is not red. This cell is blue, because it touches green and red, And yellow that points at it, I never actually filled in, but the yellow actually points at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the cell that's yellow that I never filled in. So this can't be yellow. It must be blue. This can't be blue, however, because it would be a 2, and I already have a blue 2. So this is blue. This cell cannot be green. It cannot be blue. So this cell is also red or yellow. Oh, and this cell's yellow because red has a 3 now. So that's yellow. If this was yellow, it would be a yellow 3, which would work. If this was red, it would be a red 4, which does not work because we already have a red 4 up here. So this is, in fact, a yellow 3. So therefore, this yellow does not go up, and this yellow does not go left. This cell is red because it touches every other color, and I don't even have to think about it more than that. And the red grows because red already has a monomino. So we've got that. Let us see what else there is to see. Do I need to think about what color the 7 is? Smart spot. This is definitely a 7 because it touches a 5 and a 6. So this is definitely a 7. Smart spot to Malrog there. And so if that's a 7, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This becomes green. And it doesn't grow this way, and it doesn't grow that way. And so the 9 does grow that way. The 9 assuredly can't take this cell because it would be off the grid. So the 9 is not going to take that cell. This cell's on an arrow, so it's at least 2, so it's therefore green. The 9 takes that cell, therefore. The 9 also can't take this cell, because if the 9 took this cell, it would point at something off the grid. And so the 9 grows and, in fact, finishes as that rare I nonomino. We don't get a lot of I nonominos these days. This cell's not blue or green, so it is yellow or red. If it was yellow, it could not take this because it would be a 3, and so it would take that, and it would be a yellow 4, but I already have a yellow 4, so this is never yellow. It is, in fact, red. It can't be a red 3, so it must be a red 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It must be a red 6 in order for that to work. Green can't stay at 2, so green must grow. Green can't be a 3, though, because then it would point at yellow, so the green must grow. And then the green is done growing, because it can't do anything else. So this is a 4, which means that's green. Which means that we have found the blue monomino at long last. This red can't be a domino, so it must grow. So this yellow must finish this way, because it has nowhere else to finish. The red can't be a triomino, so it must grow. It can't be a tetramino, so it must grow. It would be more than a sextomino if it grew here, so it doesn't. And so it finishes with 5. Now there's no blue monomino left, so that's blue and that's green. And now these septominos touch, so that's green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This can't be green, or it would make an octomino, and that would just be silly. So blue can't have a domino, though. And blue can't have a triomino either. So we get all of that happening. Let's see. This sexomino grows. And now this sexomino is going to grow to one of these two cells, so this is always going to be part of the red sexomino. And now these two sexominos are different colors, so they can't grow into each other, and so the yellow sexomino goes over here. That's right. This green also can't grow into that. And green already has a monomino. Also, I need to get this out of here. I keep noticing that and forgetting to do it. So this is green. This is green. in order to make that work. Let's see. So we've got all of that. Okay, this is a 3. I might as well fill in while I'm filling things in. These I know aren't yellow, so this is not yellow or green. So this is red or blue. Do I have any way of knowing whether it's red or blue? Well, it certainly is going to force the green over to here. That's the point that I needed to make. Wait, no, I didn't know this wasn't green. What am I talking about? The green could just come here. Never mind. That's right. Good spot from SPQ and others in chat. These must be red, because if they weren't red, I would need a domino or a monomino, and I have no dominoes or monominos left, so therefore those are red. And now the only cell that's left that can be red is this one, somehow. And then that finishes my sexamino. So we have all of those. This thing, whatever it is, it's at least that big. This thing, whatever it is, it's at least that big. Even if the green takes this cell, the green still always takes this cell. Because if a green takes this cell, it can't take the vet tree. So green always takes this cell, is what I believe I have just convinced myself of. So these are both 7s. Blue does not have a tetramino yet, so this can absolutely be a blue tetramino. If it's not a blue tetramino, I guess it could also be a pentamino, and that would be fine. Oh, no, sorry. Selena's correct. I miscounted. Sorry. Nope. Right. There's only one more. In my brain, I had retained from earlier that there were 2 more, but there are not 2 more. There's only 1 more. There's a border here for sure. Right. Whatever's above the vet tree has to grow down is a great spot. So it's not red or green. So this is always blue or yellow. Blue and yellow both have dominoes and triominoes. So this is at least of size 4. It's probably of size 6, I'm going to guess. But the point is, it does tell me that green doesn't grow there. And so green needs to grow here at least in order to make the world work. Of course, green needs to keep growing. And even growing to a size of 4 won't work for green. So green needs to take one of these at least. There is no green 6. Oh, but this would touch a 6. So if green only took one of them, it would not work. So here's what I'm doing in my head. I'm looking at, can green take only this? No, it would have to grow. So if green can't only take that, that's always green. Now, can green only take this? No. And can green only take this? No. So green takes it all. Never mind the purple. And therefore, we end up with this lovely amino. 5, 6, 7, 8. That is a green octamino, as we would like. Those are 6s. Now, assuredly something happens. I really want this to have to end up being yellow. But I don't think I even know that it can't join this and be like a blue infinity amino. Maybe the question I should ask myself is how big this is. Ah, yes, that's the thing to ask myself, because this has a minimum size of 8. Yes. Well, it has a minimum size of 7, I suppose. This is at least 7. Uh, but how is it going to not touch the green 7? I guess that's going to be the art of all of this. Uh, it looked to me like there's no way this is going to not touch the green, but maybe there's a way if I do that and like that. That doesn't work. I don't see how it's at all possible yet, but let's count cells. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, so there's 25 total. I know 13 of that is the green 7 and the yellow 6. So those are gone. Whoosh, we've got 12 left. This is a blue 4 at minimum. And this is something... This is a something at minimum. I feel like I've broken the puzzle. Because I feel like I now don't even have enough left for the red to be big enough. Because Oh, because this can be yellow. Right. What we proved is this must be yellow and must be part of the yellow 6. So that's the point. Is that this must be yellow. And therefore must join that. That's the point. Otherwise, as I said, it's broken if we don't realize that that's possible. Okay, so we have the 6 and the 7, that's 13. So we have 12 left to put in blue and red. And so blue and red sum to 12. So seems to me like 4 and 8 is what it's going to have to be. Yeah, I said that, Carl, but all of chat yelled at me when I said that red couldn't be 7 because it would have to touch the green 7. So I thought for sure that just meant chat had all done the puzzle and knew that I was missing some obvious version of this, but I really don't see the world where red is 7. Yeah, there's absolutely no world where red is 7. So red is 8 and blue is 4. So we have that, and so that can't be green. That must be the green 7. See, this time I even was right about how this worked out. Chat was just all over me for no reason. So we have that, and so these all become 6, including the vet tree. There are not enough cells, Malcolm. We were maxed out on using all of our cells. So we had done the math on the giant Fillomino region, and so we knew we did not have enough cells left. Very nice puzzle, MicroStudy. I really enjoyed that. Although I am shocked to see a MicroStudy puzzle where the largest omino is an anomino. Usually in MicroStudy puzzles, one is obligated to make up new omino names. MicroStudy will make a sequel that is on an 18 by 18 grid like the earlier puzzle we did. And maybe has like a star battle in the middle or something. But that was very lovely. I enjoyed every bit of that. What did that come into difficulty-wise? Is 3? I think this is the rare moment where I would have said 2 if I was LMDing this. Oh, I guess I never actually pulled up the sample puzzle. I pulled up LMD so we could look at the sample puzzle, but the rules were so crystal clear that I did not even look at the sample puzzle. Anyway, excellent puzzle. I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be back in a moment. Oh, did you do the thing where the sample puzzle is harder than the actual puzzle? I definitely did that with Denver. Whereas, like, okay, I found this ridiculous shape that does this thing with these arrows, but technically it makes a 6x6 puzzle that's solvable, so it's good enough. Now the sample puzzle for Miami, I think, is indeed a very easy one. Yeah, I want to try setting something like this. This is a very cool thing. Maybe I'll try and set this, but with it being ambiguous whether the arrows are country road arrows or color theorem arrows or something. That could be fun. Alrighty. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be back in just a moment with more puzzles. So be right back. welcome back. Uh, I realized recently that I have not actually done that many Myxo puzzles on stream, even though Myxo puzzles are, by all accounts, fantastic. So I went and dumped a bunch of Myxo puzzles into the bucket, this being one of them. So we're going to try this out. So this is a Japanese sums puzzle. And what that means is that we're going to enter some digits into some cells. The digits have to be between 1 and 9. There's no entering zeros. Please, no one start putting zeros in. And we can't repeat digits in a row or column, but we can just leave cells empty. So it's not like a Sudoku where you have to sort of fill in everything. You can just leave some cells empty. And we get these sort of sums on the outside that are telling us something about the sums of these strings of consecutive digits. And so this is saying I have a string of consecutive digits that sum to 40, whereas this is telling us I have 3 strings of consecutive digits that each sum to a single digit number. So that is what's happening. And so what is it? So there's always the question of whether we're shading or unshading the cells with digits. Okay, it's the unshaded cells that have digits. Do you have a good bet tree for this, Myxo? So in order to get a sum of 40 with Sudoku digits, we need at least 7 numbers. So there's at least 7 shaded numbers here, or 7 unshaded numbers here. So that means these 4 cells are always going to be unshaded. And they're forming a coral. It's the shaded cells that form a coral. So this is the water, I guess. Is what I am attempting to communicate here by sort of making these blue. Okay, so the other rule that I'm trying to explain poorly is that the cells that are not digits form a coral, and a coral, that's going to be the purple cells. The purple cells are row 1, column 9. The purple cells are a coral, which means they're an orthogonally connected region, and all unshaded cells are orthogonally connected to the edge of the grid, and there's no 2 by 2 of coral. So we've got so that is the rule there. So that'll take a bit for us to process, but anyway, blue cells get digits, purple cells get no digits, and we get to try to make all of this work. So good luck to us. Okay, so this row, I guess the 20 space double digit is interesting. So that would be 20 is a minimum of 3 cells. Yeah, I don't think anything is forced shaded from the first business there. Oh, the coral rules are covered. I've made the zeta too large. Let me shrink the zeta. There we go. A bunch of people have said things that I don't understand, which is par for the course for a Japanese sums puzzle. Sort of looking at the 1711, whatever, up here. Question mark segment in row 1 touches the 40. The black cells. What are black cells? Okay, so I don't have any idea what Nicholas is trying to tell me, but I'm starting to understand Selena's point, which is that if I try to think about where my 3 blue are going, my 3 blue that make up the 20 are definitely going to cut off my coral in here. Because remember, I need to sort of put, theoretically, some coral in here, but the coral needs to be connected. And so if I, for example, were to try and do this, that will have the problem that now all of this will have to be blue. So that does not work. And so Selena's point is I need a double cell blue thing. And if I put the double blue cell anywhere but here, then I'm going to run into this problem that I'm going to force basically the whole first row to be blue. So these are blue. Is the point. And now I can't make this blue. So this is definitely coral. And that coral needs to get out because I presume there needs to be more coral in the world. Wait, that's already broken. So I've already done something wrong. No, I haven't. No. It's because it's because of how big the grid is. I get 3 of these. So all of this happens, and so we have that going on, and so the coral goes some length down here. Well, the coral, we only get 1 string of coral up here is the point, because I can't have coral over here and then have some blue in the middle, because then the coral's not connected. So I actually know all of these are blue. And I can't have 6 consecutive cells in blue, because that would sum to a minimum of 21. So we get to coral all of that. And so we have some amount of bluing happening, at least. Okay. So we know these are summing to single-digit numbers. There are no zeros in the grid. There's only 1 through 9s in the grid. Thank God, Garion. You cannot enter 0 into a cell in this puzzle. If this was purple, this is a beautiful point. If this was purple, then this would need to be blue by 2 by 2, but it would be a double-digit sum, and that does not work. So this is always blue. I agree with that assessment. Now, there is a no checkerboarding rule in effect here because of the fact that blues all connect to the outside border. So there's a sort of like cave-like avoidance of checkerboard. So as soon as this is blue, that's also blue. But I don't know what to do with that as things currently stand. Okay, well, here's the thing I could do. There's a lot of purple in this column, because I could maybe make these 3 blue, but this is the second blue sum, and the second blue sum only sums to 6. So all of this is always purple. Is the question, or is the thing. Now does all of that purple get me anything interesting? Well, I have a blue sum to 21. Okay, so I only get 1. And so that string of blue, for example, can't start here. So if this cell is not blue, yeah, so there's only 1 string of blues. And so that string of blues has to hit at least these 3 cells. Because if it doesn't hit those 3 cells, then I've got 2 purples on one of the ends that are forming a 2 by 2. Is the point that I was trying to communicate there. So that gets me a digit out of nowhere. This is a 6. Let us bring in Zach for his famous 6y dance. Boop 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 doop boop boop. Whoop boop boop boop. Waha! Ba 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 ba. Waha! Ba da ba ba ba. Waha! Ba ba da. Waha! Ba da ba ba ba. Waha! Ba da ba ba ba. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Uh, so we have a bit of progress. We have a 6. Uh, okay. Uh, right. This can extend up at most 5 cells. It can't go up to 6 cells, is Sarah's point. Because if it was 6 cells, that would be too many cells to sum to 21, so therefore these are purple. This is part of a double-digit blue sum, and I have to avoid a checkerboard. So this is also going to be blue. The reason why, if you've not seen this before, it's a super weird deduction. If I made this purple, my purple has to connect to my purple, and it's going to do that around here somewhere. But that's going to isolate this blue from getting to the wall, which the blue has to be. Oh, also I lied because in my brain it was 20, and it's actually only 21. That can be 6 long, but that's still purple. Sorry, in my brain this was a 20 clue, not a 21 clue. Anyway, this is still blue, and that's still blue. In order to avoid a checkerboard and make this a double-digit sum. And then this is purple in order to make the purple connect to the purple. Okay. So we've got all of that happening. Let's see, if this were blue, it would be a 5. I don't know if I care about that. Let's see. Okay, this is a... No, this is not the one that's a 1, 3, or a 4. This is a single-digit number. This is a single-digit number. Let's see. I need at least 2 cells of blue, but the 2 cells of blue could even be as far over as here for all that I am able to care about. I'm just noticing things like if this is purple, this is forced to be a 7, 9. Exactly. Row 5, column 9 be blue. If it was, it breaks row 4, column 9. Okay, I'm not seeing this at all. Let's try this. Okay, so if this is blue, what happens? It certainly forces this to be blue, so it certainly forces all of this to be purple. So these are a 1, 2, 3, so this would also be blue. But I don't see what's wrong with this being a 1, 2, 3. Well, that would also be blue. Yeah, I don't see what's wrong with that being 6 and this being 6 and this being 5. I think it's okay. It's quite restrictive, obviously. I mean, I can't imagine it's the case that somehow if this is a 5, then I break the fact... Yeah, then that certainly does not break the 21 sum in any appreciable manner. Question mark 6. There's a lot of 6s. I'm trying to decide. If this is blue, that's also blue because of the 6 is one consequence of that, because that can't be a single 6. That's blue, that's also blue. I don't think so. It could just be a 2-cell 5-sum, right? I do know that this row has a regular 2 and a regular 3 and something else, which is going to take up some amount of space, but not anywhere near enough space to sort of force stuff as it currently sits. What about this one? Oh, this column, I think, has some stuff that's forced, because I need 2 more blues in this, 2 more 2-cell blue segments in this column. I could put them here, or I could slide them down by 1. But regardless of where I put them, I always need to make this blue and this blue. Again, the basic idea is sort of, if I start to cram all the stuff towards the top, this is the most efficient I can do it, but then I can sort of slide these things around. But that is the best that we can do. And so now, as Selena points out, that blue there is going to have to be the 3, because I can't extend this in either direction. It would be a 2-cell 3-sum, but there's a 2 in the row, so that's not going to work. And so this is a 3. And so these are both blue to avoid 2x2s. And now these are blues to avoid Battenbergs, as Russ likes to call checkerboards. So we've got all of that happening. This is, sorry, that's part of a single cell sum. Shocking. So this is part of a double cell sum. So that goes up at least. Okay, when that goes up, this is part of a single cell sum in the row. In fact, this is part of a sum to 8. So that could be an 8, or it could be a 2-cell sum to 8, whatever. Actually, if this is blue, the column breaks, doesn't it? If this is blue, I don't have room in the column. Because if this is blue, I need to still fit a third string of blue, and that just doesn't work. So that's purple, and then that's purple by connectivity. That's blue by avoid a Battenberg. And now this is part of a double-digit sum, so that's actually all forced now. Like that. This purple, if this was blue, it separates the purples, because the purple would then be sort of lopped off, so that's always purple. If this is blue, it is a 6, but it's part of a 2-cell sum to 6, so this cannot be blue. Because of the interaction of the row clue and the column clue. Which is always very cute, because this would be a 6, but it would be part of a 2-cell sum to 6, so it's not blue. So we've got that now. So now my coral still has to poke out here, or I have not coraled very well. The 8 in row 6. The 8 in row 6 is just given. Except I think that's row 7. But that 8 is now just a gimme. Because it's just written in. It's writtenable, as they say. The column 9 is done with coloring, Garian points out. So that's a coral. So these are both blue. Now, by the clue in this column, this is also blue. And this is a 5 now. 3 5s. I will never say no to a 3 5 or 3 5. Don't look a free 5 in the mouth or whatever is the saying, I think. Now, in this row, if I sort of pack stuff most efficiently in this direction, it looks like this. But now this, when I wiggle it, is always going to make this blue. Good spot from Garion. If this was blue, it would be a 5 by the row, and it would be a second 5 in the column. So that would be bad. So it is coral. So these are a 2-cell sum to 5. So these are, and so they're not a 3-cell sum to 5, that's for sure. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's not a 3, so that one's not a 2. This is a single-digit number. Let's see. This 23 is going to be at least 3 cells long. So this had always better be blue, or I'm not going to be able to make it 3 cells long. In order to make that work. Yeah. So that's always blue. I don't know what that is. Row 3, column 9. Yes, this is a 1-cell sum to 6. So therefore it is a 6. Good, good. Let's see. Right. So these... Well, this has got to be like at least 4, I guess, is Nicholas's point. Maybe 4 won't even work. Yeah, 4 won't work. This has got to be at least 5. Because of the fact that these 3 sum to a double-digit number. If this is a 4, then they don't. And if it's a 3, well, then that repeats digits. So this is at least a 5. But now that makes this digit fairly small. I mean, it's at most 4, at least. And these are summing to a single-digit number, so that is kind of interesting. If this is blue... Okay, so this can't be blue. Because if this is blue, now it's a 4. And then that's at minimum of 4 plus 5 plus 1. That's 10. So this is purple now. Probably not a 9. Fair, fair, fair. Let's see. Carl has a good point about the 21 sum. First, let me figure out where the 21 sum is. Oh, the 21 sum is over here. Okay, so these need to sum to 10. And so they have a 1 in them, because if they don't have a 1 in them, they'd have to be 2, 3, 5, which would repeat the 5. And so now I have to make a sum to 9 in 2 cells that doesn't use 1, 5, or 6, and so it has to be 1, 2, 7. Crazy, so that's just forced. Let's see. This can't be purple because it would make this blue. So let me just show you this. This is a common trick. If this was purple, this would be blue, but now it's a blue sum to 14. It would have to be a 14 by itself, so that's not purple. It is, in fact, blue. And that is now part of a single-digit sum, yet again. Vertically, it's part of the 14 sum. See, I feel like I probably can run that again somewhere if I'm careful, but I don't quite see it yet. Let's see, I need 2 things in here. That's not so difficult to imagine. Right. Okay, so Emily's pointing out, what's the most cells that I could do 11 in? That would be 4. What's the most cells I could do 14 in? Actually, do I know? Are there any cells I know for sure are purple, Emily? I'm not actually... It sounds very good, but actually, because this could stretch up to 4 and this could stretch up to 4, I don't know that there's any cell in here. I mean, I know there obviously is a purple cell between them, but I don't think I quite can nail down, oh, this has to be a purple cell. If these are both blue, they're a 1-3. Otherwise, they are a 4. Otherwise, whichever one is blue is a 4. Like, vaguely interesting if it's this one, but not super interesting. If I am being completely honest about it. Okay, Garion says if this is purple, then row 7, column 5 is also purple. Why? Because this would be blue in that instance. Okay, so the point is if this is purple, then my blue sum now is 6 long to get to 11. And I can't make it 6 long to get to 11. Okay, so Garion and I just had different things of what we saw immediately as being forced. But that means this is definitely blue. And now these two join because of the row clue. Because the row clue only has 3 contiguous groups. Interestingly, in this column, either these join or these join. Don't have a super obvious way of thinking about that yet, but maybe it'll be interesting later. Only a single-digit blue sum in here, so there's at most 3 blue cells left to fill in here. If this is all the blue, this would be 6, 8, 9, but I don't know if that's interesting. Yeah, we still don't quite. We're closer to Emily's point, but we don't quite have Emily's point yet about how getting a purple cell sort of forced in here in a specific way. Let's see. Single digit thing. Yeah, so up to 13 is going to take up at least 2 of those. This is blue, it's immediately going to make that purple. If this is blue, it's immediately going to make that purple. This is purple. I guess my blue is maybe not quite forced. My blue is very nearly forced. There's something wrong with these being 7, 9 that I'm not seeing. I don't think so. Yeah, I can still have 2 blue cells like anywhere in this row, so I have some flexibility. Looking at this row and trying to decide if that can really be blue. If that's blue, then my 4 clue is a 4. And this is 1, 2, 3 exactly. Which would force this to also be blue. So if this cell is blue, that cell is blue. So this cell's always blue is the ridiculous deduction that I got out of that. I can't imagine this is intended. But if this is blue, the thing that happens is that now I've got a 3-cell single-digit sum, and that's a big problem for this 4 clue. Namely, it forces my 4 clue to be just a 4, because if it was a 2-cell sum, it would be 1, 3, and then I could never make this 3-cell sum work. And so, therefore, this would be a 1, 2, or a 3, and this would also need to be blue in order to get my 4 sum. So if this is blue, this is blue. Otherwise, this is blue, and it's just a 4, so this is always blue. And therefore, that's purple, because I need at most 3 cells in my sum. And therefore, that's purple to avoid a Battenberg. And so this is 1, 3, or 4, depending on which of those worlds we live in. Okay, now has that done anything to help this column? No, the 11 can still stretch all the way down there if it really wants to. Dagnammit. So I only get a single digit's worth of blue over there. Is this going to, like, force anything interesting when it comes to, like, if the blues connect this way versus if the blues connect this way in this column? I don't think so. Not immediately, anyway. Row 5, column 5 is blue. This sounds like a bifurcation. Time for the bifurcation pellet. Row 5, column 5 is blue. Then doesn't this have to be blue? Ah, yep. That is great. Yep, so if this is blue, then this has a problem that it also has to be blue, because otherwise we would create a checkerboard down here. This is Carl's point. And so this would be blue. But now my sum here that is to remember a single-digit number is now a 5-cell single-digit sum. So that's not going to work. So therefore, this is always part of the coral. Now this is part of a double-digit sum, so that's always blue. And I need to have a single-digit sum in front of it, so that's purple and that's blue. And this actually is a 4. Doesn't really tell me anything about what's going on there. I don't suppose. Let's see. If row 8, column 2 is purple, then 2 equals 9. That sounds interesting. Oh, but it's a long, arduous process. I mean, if this is purple, can't we just not fit the 21 in this column? I think if this is purple, the 21 doesn't have anywhere to go. So if this is purple, where am I fitting a 21, which is a minimum of 3 cells? It can't go up here because this is part of the 1 cell, and we've just boxed off all of these. So I think, apologies to Selena, I think that is just always blue without having to think about whether 2 and 9 are equal. This column has its sort of 3 blue chunks. Certainly this blue can't go 2 up or we've got problems. At least I believe we would have problems. Row 8, column 1 is blue. You break the bottom left part of the puzzle. So if this is blue, we now have the problem that the coral needs to, like, get in here somewhere in a way that is somewhat complicated. because I would need, if this is blue now, everything needs to connect to this coral. And so this coral would have to do something like that. That looks okay to me, though. These two could sum to a single-digit number. That could be a 2. These could sum to 13. Oh, I see the problem. I see the problem. The problem is the 21 clue. Right. So in this universe, we have to look ahead a little bit further. In this universe, this cannot be coral because of the 21 clue. If this was coral, it would force that to be coral. Sorry, I'm trying to articulate this. If this is coral, it forces that to be coral, which forces that to be coral. Which then forces that to be blue. This coral would have to come in like this. And now I've got to have a 1-cell 13. So we actually bifurcated twice there because one of them was if this was coral. We said all of that. So this would have to be blue is what we're saying now. And if that's blue, it's the 2. So these would both be coral. That coral would come out this way. This would need to be a single-digit sum. And so now what's breaking in this version of the world? Oh, these two have to be these two have to be blue for the 13 sum. Okay, so that is quite a mess of a deduction, but this is definitely purple. It's definitely seeable that it looks horrendous if this is there. Like, as soon as Garion said it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure that's not going to work. But then it ended up being a lot more work than I thought it was going to be to actually show that it really breaks. I am unsurprised that that is not an intended discovery. So now, annoyingly, I could fit the 9 here, couldn't I? No, I can't. I can't. If this is blue now, this becomes blue. But by the column, actually, I don't quite know if that's true. What I do know is one of these two is blue. These can't both be none blue, is the thing that I was actually proving in my head. Because if this was blue, it would by the and was that, it would need to be a 9, but it would then be a 9 that's part of a 2-cell sum, and that doesn't sound great. And so then the consequence of that is that if this is blue, then this just can't be blue. If this is blue, then I get a 2-cell 2 sum. Let's do that first. But now this has to be blue and has to be a 9, because if it's not blue, I run into the problem that I ran into before, which is that this would be a 9 that's part of a 2-cell single-digit sum. So that's always blue, and then I get that it's a 9. And 9 is not equal to 13, so this is blue. Certainly this sum, though, can't go on for more than 2 more cells, so those are going to be purple in order to make that all work. So now, the question is this a 4? Oh, this can't be 1, 3. Because if this is 1, 3, I can't make 5. That's the point. If this was 1, 3, yeah, then there would be no way to make 5. So that will be a 4. And these will be a 2 and a 3 in that order. Hey, Kodak! Hope you're doing well. This needs to be a double-digit sum, so 5 or bigger is fine. Can be a 1, 2, or a 4. Okay, 4 is not 21, so this is blue. This purple needs to get out in order to make the world an appropriately blued place. Let's see. This row still needs its single-digit sum. I still need one of these two. Oh, right. This is just the 2. So that is going to do all of that. And these two sum to a single digit number. These two sum to 14, actually, which is very interesting, because 14 is either 5, 9 or 6, 8. So this is 5, 9 or 6, 8. But this can't be 9 or 8. Sorry, it could be 8. Can't be 9 or 6 because of the row. And so this up here is either 6 or 9, just for the record. And so if this were 8, this would need to be 1. This is always a 1 or a 4, I guess, is the point, because if this is an 8, this has to be a 1. And if this is a 5, well, it can't be 2 or 3, so it would need to be a 1 or a 4. This has maybe gotten more excessive than was strictly necessary. These two only sum to 6, so I can't get to 21 with just one more cell, so the blue needs to grow, which then forces the purple to grow like that. 4 is not 12, so we get some quarreling happening here, and so that's an 8. This is a single-digit sum, so if this is blue, it's a 1. Otherwise, it's not. These two sum to 15, so these are from 6, 9, 7, 8. And that's not an 8, so that's not a 7. There's only... I do actually know that this is purple because there's only 2 contiguous groups of blue in this column. This cell's always blue because if it's not, I can't get to 2 two-digit blue sums. So that's always blue. Let's see. I know one of these has to be purple. Let's see. There may be some math to do on this 23 sum, but that sounds horrendous. If this is purple, this digit needs to be at least 6. And that would be really tough for making this not overflow the sum, but technically possible. If this is blue, it's tiny because of the single-digit sum. If it's blue, this would have to be a 1, 2, or 3. At least one of these is blue. Let's see. Malcolm says this cell can't be blue. Right. That's very clever. So Malcolm's point is if this is blue, then by no checkerboards, this is blue, and now I have a 4-cell single-digit sum. That doesn't work. So therefore, that is coral. And now this is a double-digit sum, so it gets pushed up, which then makes that coral. And so now this is now a 7, 9, sort of 16 sum. Now, these need to connect, but I'm not... Oh. Yeah, so there's some connection thing that's not going to work. Right, this needs to be blue for the row. And so now they connect like that in order to get this connection to work. This is blue to avoid a checkerboard is a good point. Oh, Lord, I have a 5-cell 17 sum. Well, I certainly don't have more than that. So those become purple. This is an 11 sum, so that becomes blue. This needs to be purple, or I've only got 1 sum in this row. And so, yeah, the question is this a 2-cell or a 3-cell 6 sum? In order to make that work. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So Admiral Malcor points out this is not a 1, because if it was a 1, it would make this a 9, and then this triple would sum to 23 by itself. So that doesn't work. So this is a 4, and therefore that's a 5, and therefore that's a 9. That's crazy that it would create the 6, 8, 9 triple that would sum to 23. That's insanity as a deduction. So neither of these can be 6 or 8, or we'd have the same problem. So when we write out what these can be, they can't be 9, they can't be 6 or 8. This one can't be 4. And in fact, this one can't be 1, 2, 3, or 5 either, because it needs to sum to a double-digit sum. So that's a 7. So no 7. And so now the question is, if this is an 8, that's a problem because they already summed to 24. So now this is 6. And so 6, 7, and 9, that's 22. That makes this a 1. This is no longer able to be a 6. These sum to 21, so that's 8 plus 4 is 12. I need to add 9 to that to get to 21. So let's see. So this is not 6 or 7. This is not 1. All I know is that these have a single-digit sum, but this can't be an 8 anymore because that can't be a 1 anymore, so that's a 5. Oh, this has become a 2 because everything else is gone, so that's a 4. So we get some 1, 7 action over here. Now, 17 in 5 without a 4 must be forced, because it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. So it must be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Must be the way that this is forced. I don't know if that's at all interesting. Probably not, but what are you going to do? Now, let's see. I need to make sure these get to double digits. That doesn't seem interesting. I need to make sure these get to double digits. That doesn't seem interesting. I need to make sure these stick to double digits. So these certainly are at most 6. This one's not 2, 3, or 5. This one's not 3 or 4. So it could annoyingly be 2, 3, 4 exactly if I made this the 2. This can't be a 6, though, because these can't be a 1, 2 pair. Let's see. Yeah, I'm still trying to decide if these are a 1, 3 or not. Is ultimately what is being decided. Oh, this is a 2-cell sum to a double-digit number. So this can't be a 1 because I need a 9 there and I can't have it. So this is at least a 2 for whatever minimal amount that is worth. Could be a 2, though. That would be fine. Row 4 has a 6 sum. Oh, row 4 has a 6 sum. That's very interesting. So that's not a 6. At the very least. If this is purple, then these are a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Garion is suggesting just write in all the options for this cell, and note it can't be 1, 7, or 9, it can't be 4 or 5, and it needs to add to a double-digit total with this number. And so 2 and 3 are right out. So this... And 6 doesn't work because I can't use 6, 6. So this can only be an 8. I agree with Garion's tenacity there. So this digit is at least a 2, but that was already true by Sudoku. That was quite a spot indeed. Let's see. I probably should write in what these can be. Not 2, 4, 6, or 9. They need to have a single-digit sum. So an 8 would have to go with a 1, I suppose. This can't be a 1 anymore because that would have to be a 9, and it can't be. We are slowly picking away at all of these things. This can't be a 5, because if this was a 5, that would have to be a 1 in order to make the 6 sum work, and it can't be a 1. So that's not a 5. So this is 1, 2, 3. Ominous. This is never a 1 because it's part of a 20 sum, Math Pesto points out, and these two sum to at most 17, so this needs to be at least 3. Very true. So this can't be an 8 ever, or a 7, because that would break the single-digit sum. And this can't be a 3 because the only way 3 would work is if these were an 8-9 pair, but that would have to be the 8, and it can't be. So this is not a 3. So this is at least a 5. And so this isn't a 5. This is now down to 1 or 3. And one of... So it's not the case that both 1 and 3 are in this row, because if both 1 and 3 were in this row, I could not leave my outies of either 1, 4, or 2, 3. And so since there's a 1 or 3, this isn't 1 or 3. This is 2, 5, or 6. Just to do ridiculous math. Let's see. So if this was a 7, this would need to be a 4, Garion points out, because 7 plus 9 is 16. So that's never a 7. So you are down to only 2 spots that can actually be the 1 here. I'd love to prove that this has to be the 1. Because if this has to be the 1, it's going to force a whole lot down here. I feel like KNT is the ultimate fiddly math setter. Though I would not try and take KNT's crown on fiddly math in JSUM's puzzles. Let's see. Row 6, column 7. Can't be a 1 by combining the clues in row 5 and column 7. Okay, if this were a 1... if this were a 1, that would have to be a 9. But then this is a single-digit sum, and that doesn't work. So so that can't be a 1. And if this is a 4 or a 6, then then lots of things happen. So that was a beautiful spot. Because now I only get one number in my sums to at most 9. I only get one number that's bigger than 3. And I need a 1 in these to make it work. So that's going to place the 1 there. And it's going to make that a 7 and that a 1. Now, this being a 1 or a 3 means it's not a 4, which means this is a 1, 3 in order to make my 4 work. So we have finally resolved that old chestnut, as they say. Oh, 2, 3, 4 would have worked. Sorry, you're completely right. That still couldn't be a 4, though. Sorry, it could still be 2, 3, 4, but this is still a 1, 3. But you're right. This could be 2, 3, 4 still. Except for uniqueness. But other than uniqueness, it could be 2, 3, 4. Let's see. This is part of a double-digit sum. Oh, that finishes the coral. It does, indeed. So this is a 2-cell 6 sum, so that is not a 3. So this is a 4 or a 5. Over here, shading dance. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo! Ba-do-ba-do, woo! Ba-do-ba-do, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da, wah-ha! these digits have to be between 1 and 6 because this is a single digit sum. And this one is not 2, 3, 4, or 5. This one is not 3, 4, or 5. If this one were 6, it would not work because 6 would need to go with 1 and 2, and it couldn't. So these have become a 1-2 pair. We have a 1, 2, 3, 6 quadruple that does absolutely nothing. Fascinating. Oh, but these need to have a double-digit sum. And if this is a 1, that's not going to be a double-digit sum. So this has to be the 6, with that being the 1 and the 2, and the 1 and the 4, and the 3, and the 7, and the 1. See, I told you there would be a 1. And the 3. Man, I'm doing well today with the things chat tells me that I screwed up being actually right. That's a 1 and a 5. Let's see. If this were a 2, this would need to be an 8. Seems vaguely okay. These digits, if I just write in what they can be... sorry, they could be 1, right? Right, they need to have a 1 in them. Otherwise, it's not going to work. But this can't be a 1, because again, that would put a 1 and a 3 in this row, so that's the 1. This is not a 9, because 1 plus 9 is still not a single-digit number. Here, this number needs to be at least 3. Let's see, will Mark work? Mark will actually work. This needs to be at least 3, but it was never at risk of being anything that was less than 3. Row 4, column 6. It couldn't be 4, 2. I don't remember. Oh, it was because we got a 2, 5, 6 triple that in the column, Malrog. That is what happened. I know that... Oh, this can only be 7 or 8. Just by looking at the row. That's very helpful. So this can only be 7 or 8, because even if this is as big as 5, I'd need a number that's at least 6, but 9 and 6 are gone. So this is a 7 or 8, which sums to 11 with 3 or 4. But this can't be a 3, because that would put a 1 and a 3 in the row. So that's a 4, and that's a 7. And if that's a 7, this can't be a 2, so it's a 5. And that's a 9. Really loving all the work this 1, 3 is doing. I hope that's all intentional. This is a single-digit number. I need to make sure that I keep track of that. Let's see. This is a single-digit number as well. So let us do that. I did something similar to that in Berlin that I really liked. Let's see. I know this is not 1 or 3. For all the reasons that we have just said. Okay, so this can't be 1 or 2, as we've previously noted. If this were 7, this would need to be a 4, and that doesn't work. So this is only 3, 5, or 6. If this were 7, these would not sum to a single-digit number. So this is only 2, 5, or 6. This were 3, these could be 8, 9. That sounds fine. If this were 5, this would be 8. And then I would need this to be a 7. That annoyingly works. If this were 6... Yeah, 6, 5, 9 unfortunately works. Let's see. Right. The Audis are now known because that's a 4. I missed when the 4 popped up. So, if this was a 3, I can't exclude 2 digits summing to 5, so therefore that's a 1. Unfortunately, this being a 1 is completely useless. Oh, it's not completely useless, because it does tell me that 2 and 3 are excluded. So that's a 6, and that's a 2, and that's a 5. So none of that. So if that's a 5, this can't be a 6, so it must be a 3. So those are 8 and 9, and that's a 7, and that's an 8 and a 9. this needs to be a single-digit number. It seems to be forced to be a 4. And now this needs to be at least 6, but it's not 6, and it's not 8 or 9, so the bet tree is a 7. So congratulations to all the 7 bettors out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. It was a lovely puzzle, Myxo. It was the right kind of fiddly math for me. Like I like doing like little bits of hunting and removing candidates. I did not find any of the quote unquote fiddly math. I did not find anything untoward here, and I really loved the bit with the 1-3 up here. That is one of my favorite little jokes. I don't know, single candidate eliminations can be satisfying if they eventually lead to tuples. I'm a big fan of tuples. There weren't any virtual tuples, but just finding tuples in puzzles is just generally fun, and you usually only get them by doing a little bit of single candidate elimination. I was never pushed to do any complicated killer math. Someone over here pointed out that I could do the complicated killer math, and I just didn't notice. I'm not sure if I would have ever figured it out. But anyway, very cool puzzle. An extra long stream today for all of you who enjoy extra long Zeta streams. But with that, I think it is time for me to be wrapping up and heading towards dinner. So thank you very much to everyone for watching. It has been quite a day of very cool puzzles. I guess we only did, is it true we really only did 3 puzzles? I mean, they were all epic puzzles. With a little MicroStudy one in the middle that I really loved. But actually, all 3 of today's puzzles were fantastic. I have a hard time believing we didn't sneak in a 4th one in there. But these took a bit. Yeah, weird. Anyway, as I try and figure out what puzzle I closed that I don't have, or whatever. But anyway, great puzzles today. Thank you so much to everyone for joining in today. Thank you to all the people who support the stream. It does really mean an enormous amount to Tristan and I that so many of you support the stream. Thank you very much. If you're interested in supporting the stream, there are a few ways you can do that. The easiest ways for you to do that are if you want to become an ongoing supporter and get the green name and all the Zach emotes, then you can click the join button down below, and that will walk you through becoming a member, which you can do for as little as $5 a month. Or if you don't want to make an ongoing donation because life is hard and money is complicated and all of that, but you want to make a one-time donation, you can do that by clicking on this Ko-fi link. I guess you can't click on it, but you can type the Ko-fi link, and that will let you make a one-time donation in any quantity that you are so inclined. There was Sudoku in this puzzle, Carl. There was a Sudoku. Tristan points out the link is also in the description. Thank you, Mark TechFan. Great to see you. Mark TechFan, by the way, was the person who, after I asked for the most ridiculous thing in the world of asking if someone could make a Penpa to CTC converter, made the Penpa to CTC converter that we now use. So Mark TechFan definitely deserves a ton of love if you do not know about that whole thing, because I have not had to use Penpa on stream in ages, except when setting, but I like using Penpa when setting, so it's been perfect. So maybe next I'll ask Mark TechFan to make a Sudoku setting piece of software, which I know there's like bits and pieces of that Sven has shown me in the past, so I know it will happen at some point. Yeah, I love Penpa for setting. It's what I use universally for setting, but for solving I find it painful. The stakes are high now. Indeed. But anyway, thank you to everyone for hanging out. Sorry about all the weird internet issues that we had at the beginning, so you got to see Zeta in like very choppy. I don't know how I'm attempting to with my hands simulate me looking choppy. I don't know exactly how that would work, but we'll pretend that I thought that was possible. Anyway, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you again to all the supporters, but thank you especially to the people who support at the top level. David Ratner, Nordy, Franco, Woofer, DDX, Daniel Silverstone, Willie, and Danita. Thank you so much. It is true that Sudoku Pad doesn't yet really let you do double-digit numbers, but I suspect double-digit numbers will make it to Sudoku Pad, given that Sudoku Pad has added many more complicated things than double-digit numbers. So I suspect that is not going to be a sticking point for many more years. Also, I will call out, Mark TechFan points out that on the converter page there is a link to support the work that goes into all of these things. So definitely, if you are an enjoyer of the Sudoku Pad converter, you can do that. Yes, I am at the end of this month. My plan is, once I have a little more hair, I am going to bleach my hair and then dye it purple. And it has turned out that many of my fans are big hair dyeing people, so I've gotten lots of advice on how to do it so that my hair is noticeably purple at the end, because my efforts to dye my hair did not lead into my hair being noticeably purple, which was regrettable. But I'm going to have to decolor it and then recolor it. But if I'm going to go through all of that, I want to have a little bit more hair to turn purple before I go trying to turn it purple. So we will make another attempt at purpling the hair. The goal is for it to be carnival cake, although that is what we tried last time, and it was a slightly lighter purple, and it came out not noticeable at all. So we may just go for the darkest purple we can find in hopes that it shows up as noticeably purple, because I will feel bad if at no point does my hair actually turn noticeably purple. But we shall see. I am a little disappointed that my hair was not purple when I did first year advising. I think that would have been fun for the first year students to be have the purple haired math professor, but alas, what can you do? Anyway, thank you so much to everyone. I'll see you again on Sunday when I'm streaming at I forget, what time do we stream on Sundays? I don't remember.
That's up to you. Normally 10.
CTC minus 4 hours is the Sunday stream. So CTC minus 4 hours. If you are so inclined, I look forward to seeing you on the Sunday stream. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.